Good morning and happy Thanksgiving Day from Mata Field here at Stellos Stadium on ESPN 900. I'm Ed Leishus along with Mike Murnansky, getting set to bring you Turkey Bowl 2 in the snow. Both Nashua North and South are out on the gridiron, which is covered in snow, as the Thanksgiving snowstorm struck the Nashua area a little after 6 o'clock this morning. Crews from the Park Recreation Department have been out there with blowers trying to clear the field in 5-yard increments, but they no sooner get one of the stripes done and move on to the next one, and it's covered over again. We're on about the 45-yard line, and it should be an interesting morning this morning as the 6-4 North Titans will meet their crosstown rivals, the 3-7 Purple Panthers from the south. And whether the weather has an impact on the crowd this morning remains to be seen. They are slowly trickling in to Stellos Stadium. And as we said, the Park Rec crews have been out clearing the yard lines. Athletic Director Angelo Fantasia has been clearing the walkways here in the bleacher section. And the teams are out there getting acclimated to the field. And how this will resonate in terms of the snow on this turf here at Stellos versus the last Turkey Bowl that was played in the snow, 1998. When that game was over at Holman Stadium, it looked like someone had dropped a bomb on the field. And we won't have to worry about any mud problems out there this morning, nor will there be any numbers that will be obliterated by the mud that would normally come from a turf field. Mike, it's been an interesting year for both clubs. Last year, the South won the season opener, and then the North surprised them and upset them here on Thanksgiving Day. This year, the North won the opener, went on to post a 6-3 regular season record, just finishing out of the playoff hunt. And for Scott Knight, it's been a tough year. There were a couple of oh-so-close almost wins, but they knocked off the number 1 team, Pinkerton. So anything can happen out here this morning, and obviously in the game last year, North did not throw one pass. The weather could be the equalizer this morning if they go with a run offense.
It's a great point, Ed, and great to be back here with you broadcasting the second annual Turkey Bowl, North and South, and bring up a very good point about the weather and how it affects this football game, because I think Nashua North would like to go out there and throw the football a little bit with Casey Hobson. He's a freshman, watching him warm up here, and you said getting acclimated. A lot of the players on the field right now taking very ginger steps, trying to find out what they can and cannot do on this field turf covered with, I would say, about 2 inches of snow. I think North wants to throw the ball a little bit today with Casey Hobson, and how that weather affects it, it's a very good question. And these two teams certainly look back at last year. Jason Roby can point to last year, I think, as a springboard for this past season. They come in as an underdog to Nashua South. They knock them off on Turkey Bowl. Don't throw a pass that day. Very good point. And springboard that into 6-3 regular season. They win 2/3 of their Division I games here in New Hampshire and somehow miss the playoffs. And South, as you said, has had just a few slight misses, but are a better team now than they were a few weeks ago. So each team has had 2.5 weeks to prepare. Both coaches will tell you that they wish they could have played this game a week ago. This should be a lot of fun here today, too. Very, very evenly matched teams, and I'm expecting a very good football game. And what I'm not sure to expect is how the weather affects this thing.
Two very young football teams, too. Only 6 seniors on the North Titans, 4 seniors on the South Panthers. They will get their recognition as the introductions will be made a little later on this morning. And also a little highlight this morning, we'll have members of the Nashua High School class of 1970 who are this weekend celebrating our 35th class reunion. And they will be the honorary game captains. I know Captain Al Hodge will be here along with Tim Fontaine and maybe a couple of others. And the irony of that class was that as juniors, they were the last class that were to be coached by the late, great Charles Buzz Harvey, and the first class to be coached by the late Ken Parody, who had a outstanding career here in Nashua. And back in October, the field at the North School, the football field, was dedicated to Ken's memory. And his son Jim is coaching at Marist College in Poughkeepsie, New York. They just completed a 6-4 season last weekend with a last-second victory over Stony Brook, driving 85 yards, scoring with 7 seconds to go to take a victory. And actually a successful year in that 4 of the teams they played from the NEC Conference, they weren't expected to win any of those games. They won all 4 of them. And the week previous, lost in San Diego to the University of San Diego, 42-35 on a last-second score. So a good season for Marist. And the young man that made the last tackle of the game on the kickoff last week to stop Stony Brook, a gentleman by the name of Nick Salas from Nashua, who is the starting defensive back for the Marist Red Foxes. And we are back here to Stellos Stadium on this Thanksgiving morning. Ed Lecious along with Mike Murnansky. And the snow continues to fall. They've just gone around the field to outline the out-of-bounds line. And the yard markers were done earlier this morning. But by the time they went from the end zone line out to about the 40-yard line, everything behind them got covered over. So it's going to be a challenging morning for the kids, challenging morning for the officials, as they are out there now trying to get their bearings, as both teams are on the field going through their pregame warm-ups. And it's going to be interesting. This is going to be the real first game played with snow actually on the field. We were talking to Tom King a couple of years ago when Girton played Dover in a playoff game. There was snow, but the field was cleared from that. And it's going to be interesting, Mike.
I mean, you tell me, Ed. You know this field better than I do, and it seems like if you're going to build a field like this, that there should be some sort of capability to clear the snow off, and we're looking at 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches of snow on this thing. And obviously, when kids get on the field and they're moving their feet around, they're going to clear it themselves a little bit. I'm just surprised that we don't have more of a clearing operation going on for this football field. And like you said, they've outlined it. You can't see the yard markers anymore, the 5-yard increments they tried to do about 2 hours ago when we got here. You see a little bit, the orange signs telling us where it is, and you said a hard day for officials, hard day for players, hard day for us. How the heck are we going to tell what's going on out there? Come on.
Well, it's going to be a challenge, and also the weather has kept the crowd down. Usually by now, the bleachers are probably 3/4 full, and now I'd say there's about a quarter of the stands here, which is the south is the home team, so they're in front of us, and across the way. A small contingent of Titan fans.
You can count them
sitting,
yourself.
And a lot of folks probably still hanging in the parking lot till the 11th hour before coming in, leaving the warmth of their vehicles. Although I want to thank Dave LaJoy from Park Rec for making sure the heat was on here in the booth, and we could probably make some money today selling standing room only up here in the press box because it is warm.
Oh, we thank Dave, and Dave's been great to us at the radio station in setting up events like the state championship games and the Turkey Bowl games. And Dave's just a great guy to work with. And it's unfortunate at the other part of this snow. Dave takes great pride and does a great job with the turkey in the middle of the field every year, and with the end zones for Nashua North and Nashua South. And right now, it really is a covered field. Looks like just marshmallows spread all over the thing, and you can't really see the great work that Dave does, and that's another bad part of this. But certainly, we'll see how these kids play in this weather right now. The snow's still coming down. We had heard mid-morning that it might taper off a little bit. The flakes are getting a little bit bigger. If you read the Farmer's Almanacs, that tells you it's going to slow down, but still coming down steady, and it has kept the fans away. And you look into the stands, it's too bad because there's 3 inches of snow on each one of these bleacher seats, and people are going to have to clear their spots off. And if you're making your way in, I suggest if you can, bring a towel or a small shovel even, because you're really going to have to clear off some space. There's a lot of snow in these stands, and if you're not making it, thank you so much for listening to the game here today on ESPN Radio 900.
The two teams, North now is retired to the locker room for some last-minute instruction from Jason Roby and his staff. The South Panthers are to our right, still going down through their warm-ups, and it'll be an interesting morning to see how the turf at Stellos reacts to having snow on it, whether that will cause some slipping for the players as they try to make their cuts. And as we mentioned earlier too, last year in this contest, North was successful in not throwing a pass. So whether they're planning to do that or not with Casey Hobson at quarterback will remain to be seen, as the officials are now talking to members of the chain gang. They're going to have an even more important role this morning because of the lack of markings. See, Angelo Fantasia now is down there making his way across from the far sideline, clearing off the 40-yard line so that there will be some points of references. And it's too bad the two end zones were marked appropriately for North and South by the Park Rec staff, and they did have the turkey out in the center of the gridiron that got a fresh coat of paint, but unfortunately that will remain covered. The South band is seated to our left. Rather than go onto the field for the national anthem, they will be playing from the stands, we've been told.
Okay.
And we saw North Principal Pat Corbin a few minutes ago, and he, along with South Principal Jen Susing, Athletic Director Angelo Fantasia, the Assistant AD Suzanne Klink, will be taking part in the pregame festivities. They'll be announcing the seniors, and that's not going to take a long time because, as we said, there's only 6 at North and only 4 seniors on the South team. So a young group of kids, second-year programs really for both schools. North, of course, had to start from scratch after the split. South had some kids that remained there after the split. And Jason Roby, the North coach, and Scott Knight, interesting article in today's Telegraph, both disciples of Billy Hardy when he was the coach at the one Nashua High School, and both of them have gone on to become head coaches, and I know that Bill was very pleased to see 2 of his former pupils and assistants, if you will, move into the head coaching job. And a number of folks have stayed at South as far as the coaching staff. Al Neville, who was one of the originals, and was also a candidate for one of the head coaching jobs. He's remained on the staff with Scotty Knight, along with Steve Gallipo, Ray DeRusha, Matt Fromis, Paul Wessinger, Dave Jackson, Colin Scoggins, and Kip Jackson. Mm-hmm. While up at North, Tom Horn, former middle school coach, has joined the staff there, along with Bruce Bradshaw, Sean Abbott, Keith Richard, Chad Cibolis, Adam Rosamuk, Darrell Stroop, Don Fournier, Paul Westray, Ronnie Welliver, and Johnny Richards. John himself, quite an athlete at Nashua High in his day, playing for Buzz Harvey back in the late 60s.
And Ed, watching these two teams and watching what really is two expansion programs, Nashua North and Nashua South, with the split, both coaches trying to instill not only game plans week in and week out, but trying to instill some new traditions. I know Jason Roby in particular with the brand new Nashua North High School, the Titans have done some new things and created some Titan-type traditions for their ball club. And I think if you watch what's happened over the last 2 years, you can't help but be impressed with these two, as you said, Bill Hardy disciples and what they've done at Nashua North and Nashua South, respectively. And you said these teams are pretty young. I think a lot of these players coming back. Two of the players in particular for North, Casey Hobson, for South, Bill Farrett, are two players that I'm looking forward to see play live here very much so today. And you got hats off to what these two coaches have done, Coach Knight and Coach Roby, in taking programs from expansion to into Division I right away. And North, especially this year, their success 6-3 in the division and just missing the playoffs. So I can't say enough about these two coaches, and the city should be very proud that these two guys have stuck around and are building two brand new high school football programs here in the city.
And as we talked about with each coach in the pregame, one of the thoughts and one of the hopes was that by splitting the two schools that you would offer young men and women, student athletes, a greater opportunity to participate. And the football program participation level is 100 plus at each of the schools, and that is very pleasing. But also the other major sports and some of the lesser known sports have also drawn good numbers at both schools, and I know that's pleasing to those who planned for the two-school concept. Some other games being played around the Granite State today. Manchester West will take on Manchester Central in the annual Queen City Turkey Bowl. And for one of the first times in a long time, West is actually the favorite going into that game, having beaten Central in the regular season contest. Just to our north, actually not our north, our west, Merrimack will take on Sauhegan at Sauhegan. And that, of course, will be the last hurrah for Sean Jellison, who's indicated he is going to go on to the University of New Hampshire.
Great story.
With UNH doing well the last 2 years and getting set for their big game Saturday against Colgate at Meridian Field in Durham. That is something that folks around here hopefully will be able to watch Jellison for a few more years as he goes on to college. Across the bridge, the Alvirne Broncos make the short trip to Tingsboro to take on Powerhouse Tingsboro. And the annual Pelham Lowell Catholic game is being played in Lowell today. And up in Alumni Field in Keene, it's Monadnock against the Blackbirds of Keene. And in Goffstown, John Stark Regional is taking on the Goffstown Redskins. So a number of games left. Another interesting article in today's Telegraph. Should New Hampshire look south of the border and do what Massachusetts does on Turkey Day, that it's actually the final season game. It determines who goes to the Super Bowl and the Bay State.
Well, I can speak from experience in this a little bit, Ed, having gone to high school at North Middlesex over the border in Massachusetts, and having those games count certainly changes the aspect of it a little bit. People still come back. It's still Thanksgiving. It's a must-go-to game. But there is still an impact on the playoff seed, and you wonder if they push back the start of the New Hampshire high school football season, or they change the schedule around a little bit. I think it's a very fair question and brought up, I think, very well by the Telegraph. There's certainly a lot of issues to talk about with football. That's one of them. The other, do you play all the state championship games at the end of the year at one location and have a full day of football? Divisions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Can you fit 5 games in one day? That's a big question, but it'd be great to see if they could find one location at Gill Stadium, UNH, when they get some new field turf. There's some good questions going forward for New Hampshire football, and I think the Telegraph brought up a very good point today. Do you switch it up and go Massachusetts style with these Turkey Bowl into Super Bowl games later on in the season?
Well, one of the comments was the NHIA has had their head in the sand over this.
I read that,
there's
yes.
a change coming there as
Jimmy Damaris.
Jim is stepping down after the first of the year.
It's too bad.
And maybe the new executive director of the NHIA might look at things a little differently. Although one of the neighboring athletic directors who was on the football committee, Joe Raycraft in Merrimack, he thinks things are fine the way they are now. So a lot to be seen. And we are going to take a break here at Stellos Stadium, and we'll be back with Turkey Bowl 2005.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Mata Field at Stellos Stadium for today's final football game of the 2005 season. We're pleased to recognize some of the people who have been a big part of our seasons, people who mostly do their thing behind the scenes, but whom we'd like to proudly thank for their continuing support. Chief among them, Jennifer Susing, principal of our host today, Nashua South High School. Patrick Corbin, principal of the visiting North High School. Angelo Fantasia, the athletic director. Suzanne Klink, assistant athletic director. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to begin by introducing the coaches and the seniors who are playing their last Nashua High School football game. First, for the visitors from North.
All right, the two teams have returned, and now the coaching staffs are being introduced by Bob Bates, the public address announcer, and then we'll be introducing the seniors, and as we said, that will be short and sweet because these are very young clubs that are going to do battle out here this morning, and they have cleared the 50-yard line and the 40-yard line in front of us, and they've done the two goal lines, and they've done the out-of-bounds lines around the field. Dave LaJoy making one last pass, and again, some discussion as to why the field wasn't plowed, but again, it didn't start snowing in Nashua until a little after 6 o'clock this morning, and it was very light at that point. I know I got up a little before 5 and peeked out the window, and there was nothing. And then a little after 6, it was just a little snow flurry activity. But by the time I left the house at 6:45, it had picked up to about the pace we're at right now. And as we said, keeping the crowd down a little bit, although the far stands have filled up a little better. That is where the Titans will be situated, as they are the visiting team here today.
And then I took a peek outside real quick to check on the parking lot situation, and this first lot pretty much filled up, and still a lot of cars trying to make their way in. So maybe a late arriving crowd for this game, but the weather, I agree with you, hasn't kept away as many fans as I expected it to.
To give you the rundown of the Titans who are graduating today, number 5, Justin Reyes, is a 5'11", 205-pound senior. Kevin Cloutier, number 8, 6'1" senior, 220. Tom Mulcahy, a 5'9", 195-pound senior. Ryan Hayford wears number 22, a 6'3", 190. And the other senior for the Nashua North Titans is number 85, Scott O'Neill, senior, 6'1". For the Nashua South Panthers, only 4 seniors, but one key one, Joe Barrera, the starting quarterback. And I've gotten to know Joe a little bit because he's doing an internship over at the police station.
Oh, wow.
Nice young man, gentleman, and he'll be playing his last game here today. Nate Boyer, the starting center, who also does the kicking and points after for the Panthers. And there's Chris Bonifant and Mark Belanger. So those are the seniors on today's Nashua South Purple Panthers. We're moments away from today's starting kickoff, and Mike and I will be back with more after this timeout.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call your attention to the 50-yard line.
We are back here at Stellos Stadium. Ed Leish's Mike Bernansky. Happy Thanksgiving to you. You're listening to ESPN 900 in Nashua. Absolute Broadcasting, pleased to be a part of your Thanksgiving Day tradition here in the Gate City. Bert Lawler will be the back judge in today's contest. Rich Tracy is the linesman. Line judge this morning is Dave Rapp, and the umpire this morning, Jim Lally, and the referee for this morning's contest, Bob Mercer, former state representative from Nashua, who's probably done, I'd say, over the years, at least 20, 25 of these Turkey Bowl events.
So he's used to this type of weather on Turkey Bowl, because there's been snow in the past. And you talked about 1998, Ed, when the game was played over at Holman Stadium on that, I don't want to even call it anything close to turf. And, you know, talking to you and to Tom King, and it was more like a mud bowl. And they destroyed the field that day. But certainly Mr. Mercer will have a lot better footing to get today on this beautiful Stellos Stadium field turf.
Well, the captains have gone out to the center of the gridiron, and we have members of, he said, my class, the class of 1970. Al Hodge was the co-captain, and Tim Fontaine was the starting guard, and they are out there being introduced to the captains of both teams. And I don't know if they're going to make the call, but I know Tim was a little nervous about that, and we said the designation, they were the last team as juniors to be coached by Buzz Harvey, and Ken Parady's first team in 1969-70 season. So Fontaine and Haji are out there, and the captains are getting the explanation, and the Titans will get to make the call. And it'll be an interesting morning this morning to see the way this game is going to start off. They have, as we said, cleared the midfield, the 50-yard line, the 40-yard line to our side. And the coin has been tossed, and the Panthers have won the toss, and they have, they're going to receive. Okay. Initially, Bob said they were kicking, but now they're going to receive.
I saw two signals there.
Yes.
You're not going crazy here, folks. I saw the kick signal and then the receive signal. So maybe Bobby got a little confused, but looks like Nashua South will receive this thing, the Panthers, and it should be a very interesting football game. And Casey Hobson for North, Bill Farrader for South, two players I think are going to be standouts. And if one of those guys has a good game, I think that their team could go on to win here today. But again, how does the weather play into effect here, Ed? The snow certainly still coming down just after 10 o'clock this morning. The field covered with snow still, and it's going to make an interesting football game here on Thanksgiving morning.
The Panthers will be lining up to our left, the right of your radio dial, and the Titans will be kicking from the north side of the football field to get us underway. The Panthers in their traditional purple uniforms, the Titans in their white jerseys with their North Carolina trim blue pants and jerseys. So we're just a few moments away from starting, and the stands here in front of us starting to fill in nicely, so that traffic that you had seen moving in, Mike, apparently has found some place to park, and they are taking their seats. And in addition to the class of 70s reunion this weekend, on Saturday night, the class of 75 will be holding their reunion, their 30th. So it's a big weekend for stuff like that, and I know I heard you mention the big alumni weekend over at Girton, too.
Bishop Girton's alumni weekend going to take place this weekend, Friday, some big events, and the folks over there, Karen and company, do a great job in getting those alumni together. And big weekend, as you said, dear, Nashua High School, 70 and 75, and for BG, their alumni weekend. And want to thank everyone who's not at the game or at the game with a headset and listening. Thanks for listening to the game on ESPN 900 WSNH, 1590 WSMN as well here in town. And for those that are watching this game Saturday evening on TV 16 here in the city of Nashua. Ed.
All right, we're getting set for the kickoff. The official trying to clear a spot for the Nashua North Titans.
It starts
Nick
early here
Eckstein,
today.
who will be kicking off. Back deep for Nashua South, we have number 5, and that is Paul Callery, and number 21, and that is Michael Thompson.
I believe that's number 24 back there. I apologize. Ed.
24 it is. It looked like 20. It is 24. Thank you. Dave Zacco. Zacco's a freshman back there with Callery, waiting for the kick from number 81, Nick Eckstein. And we'll be underway here in Turkey Bowl 2 on ESPN 900 in Nashua. Just a few minutes behind schedule, but given the weather, that certainly a bit understandable.
Very expected here today.
There's the Panther performing down there in the end zone.
Panther's still in the end zone. Don't know if he knows there's about to be a kickoff.
Well, now Nashua North Titans, a little trickery at the whistle blew. They all ran up to the ball. Now they spread out in the traditional kickoff lineup. And we are underway. It's a low kick, bounces around, and it is picked up by Zacco. And Zacco moves up across the 20, 25, across the 30, up to about the 37-yard line is where he is going to mark him down. And coming in to make the stop is Bartolo, and number it's about the 37-yard line is where they'll put it down. 1st and 10 for the South Panthers. Nate Boyer, the center, first down of the huddle, over the ball. Just underway here at Stellos Stadium. Lone running back is Andy Mondesier for the Panthers. Now motion, and the handoff goes to the man who is making the run, Callery. And Callery reverses field, breaks across midfield. He's down across the 40, 30, 35, down inside the 20, down to the inside the 15-yard line goes Paul Callery, who started coming to the right, then reversed his field had some good footing, went down the left sideline, and is finally pulled down inside the 15 at about the 12-yard line, first down for the Panthers.
Ed, the Titans shut out that right side, and he bounced back left. He found a big seam down the sideline. What a great run and what great instincts from a running back that time as he breaks down inside the 20, and a big play right off the bat here for the Purple Panthers.
Barrera brings him up the line of scrimmage, slot right formation. Joe Lopez in the slot to the right. Ferreter wide to the right side. Again, motion Callery, hand off to Callery. Callery this time is going to be stopped. Nice defensive play by number 4, and that is Kendall Reyes, who drops him for a loss all the way back to about the 17-yard line. It'll be a second down now and about 14. Second and 14. No score.
Credit Callery with a 51-yard run to open this football game down that left sideline, and a good start for South. And that time, as you said, Reyes blew up the running play, and North had that thing tackled.
Ferreter wide to the left side. Callery this time in the slot to the left. Wing to the right is Lopez. Barrera calling signals. Lopez goes in motion. Lopez as Barrera is back to pass, and he is dumped by great hustle by number 6, and that is John Leon Gosselin. He's a sophomore, 5'10", 195 pounds. Drops him all the way back to about the 25-yard line, and that'll bring up a third down now and about 25 yards to go for a first down for the Panthers.
Great defensive play by the Titans that time. The play action did not fool Gosselin. He broke through, made the play, and lucky that Barrera did not fumble that football.
Ferreter wide to the right side. Wide to the left is Pat Swidler. Under the center, Barrera, lone running back, Mondesir. Barrera fakes the handoff, drops back to pass, has time, fires it up. There it is, intercepted. Intercepted by Reyes. Reyes with it, turns the corner at the 5, up the sidelines at the 10, tries to stop and actually slides, and he's run out of bounds at about the 11-yard line, but Kendall Reyes picks it off at about the 3, and the Titans get the first break of the ball game.
Great play that time by Reyes, and thrown into traffic, really triple coverage, and it was Reyes who came up with the interception, cut back right up the sideline, and sets up North a great defensive play, and South gets into the red zone on a big 51-yard run, but they cannot punch it in, and now North will take over, and freshman quarterback Casey Hobson.
So first and 10, the ball is at about the 12-yard line. Hobson brings him up. Slot to the right. Under the center, calling signals as they have a spread formation. Only 3 linemen in front of Hobson. Hobson, quick pass, goes to the Reyes out on the side. Reyes is up across the 15, up to about the 17-yard line before he's brought down by Joe Lopez and company. And also into the stop, Joe Barrera. But they pick up about 5, so it'll be a second down and 5.
We said coming in, we thought they'd want to throw the ball with Hobson a little bit. They want a wide receiver screen, get almost 6 yards on the play, and maybe that's a sign of things to come for Jason Roby's offense.
That's already one more pass than they threw in this game last year.
That's a good point. And still, as you said, Ed, that spread offense, 4 wide receivers right for Casey Hobson.
And they got the 2 guards and the center as Hobson lines up on second down and about 4. Hobson fakes the pitch. Now he does. Pitches it back and trying to turn the corner with it is Nate Forsyth, and he is pummeled all the way back for a loss on the play, back to about the 15, about the 14-yard line, and it'll bring up a third down now and a long 5.
Oh, and you don't have linemen. It's a surprise to me. You try to run the ball like that. Hobson faked the pitch, finally did pitch it to Forsyth, and he was buried, as you said, Ed. They lose some yardage on that play, and interesting here, you said the 2 guards and the center have been the linemen so far for Casey Hobson. Everyone else been spread out wide or put in the backfield.
Well, you heard Jason Roby saying, you had 2.5 weeks, gives you a chance to put in a few new wrinkles, and obviously
oh, yeah.
They have. Now they go to the power I formation. Again, the 3 linemen in front of Hobson. Again, he throws it out in the flank, and it is completed out there to number 11, and that is running with the football, Zepenis. Zepenis is going to go all the way for a touchdown.
Gone.
What a play by Brad Zepenis. A little pass out on the sideline, and he goes down the sideline from the 14, 86 yards for the score, 7:53 to go. It's 6-0, North.
He was untouched. I mean, that was an interesting set again. You thought South would start to recognize that, that 4 wide and just the 3 linemen in for the Titans, and they didn't. They ran that wide receiver screen to the right side of the field. Great catch, and essentially untouched, 86 or 83 yards down the right sideline. And North on the board, and this is a lot different than last year so far, Mr. Leacius, as they are throwing the football. They didn't throw the football once in Turkey Bowl 2004.
Eckstein will try to get the point after as they clear a spot for him, waiting for the snap from center. 7:53 to go, 6-0. The Titans score first. There's the snap. The ball's placed down. The kick is up, and it is blocked. It is blocked. Number 83 coming in to make the block for the South Panthers, and that is Brett Wilcox. So the two teams head back upfield with the score. Titans 6, Panthers nothing. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
Replays 87 yards on that scoring drive. Eckstein to kick off.
Again, a slow, sputtering kick that dances around just over the 10 yards that the ball needed to go, and it's covered in there by number 42 for the Panthers, and that is Mike Lefevre. So because of the poor kick, the Panthers would take over with good field position at about the 41-yard line, trailing 6-0 with 7:53 remaining here in the first quarter.
And South looking to get a big play like they did last series with that run from Calgary. They couldn't punch it in, interception in the red zone. They can get a good big running play like that. I think they'll continue to run the football.
Ends are split from the shotgun. The handoff from Barrera goes to the second man through, and it's Andy Mondesir. And, you talk about a story there. This young man came here from Haiti, lost both of his parents. This past summer, his brother died in a swimming accident. He lives with his aunt, and he has just maintained his ability to focus on his studies and athletics. Great human interest story.
Oh, it's amazing what these young kids can do, and certainly that's a lot of travesty to live through early on in your life, and Andy has fought through and done well in the classroom and here on the football field.
Again, Barrera from the shotgun hands it off. No, keeps it. Faked the handoff to Callery, and he gets it up across the 45. And now we have a flag on the play as he is brought down by Reyes. And we'll see what the call is going to be as it was at the end of the play. Now, whether it was an inadvertent face mask there or not, we'll see. As Bob Mercer, personal foul, face mask on the tackle. So a big break there for the Panthers, as instead of having a third and about 5, they'll get the mark off, as it was an inadvertent face mask, and that will be enough, though, to get them the first down just over on the Titan side of the 50-yard line.
And you wonder, Ed, if we won't see a couple of those calls today as you're trying to grasp a player in this type of snow. The inadvertent face mask ended up grabbing someone, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a handful of those this afternoon.
Well, it is short. It's going to be second in the yard, just on the Titan side of the 50-yard line. Again from the shotgun, Barrera calling signals. Barrera hands it off. No. Play action. Back to pass. Being rushed. Throws it out of the flat. Incomplete. Great pressure put on by number 6. And that is John Leon Gosselin.
Done a great job so far.
The Titans, and that'll bring up a 3rd and 1.
Gosselin has found that front line very unopposing so far, and he's gotten through and made some nice plays on Barrera. And that time Barrera falling down really threw it left and was bailed out by a receiver in the vicinity. Sometimes you see a play like that called the intentional grounding, but Barrera did have a receiver right near him.
3rd down and a yard. Ball on the Titan side of midfield. Panthers trail 6-0. Now it is Farida onto the center, calling signals. Farida hands it off, and the second man through is Mondesir. Mondesir cuts off left tackle and gets down to about the 47-yard line, and that's going to be good for a Panther first down. So that time it was Farida who was taking the snaps, and Scotty Knight did say that we would see a lot of mix and match in there today between Barrera and Farida in the quarterback position.
Amazing athlete. We got a chance to first see him last year at the Turkey Bowl and put on quite a show. And as a receiver, Scott Knight will tell you he's emerged and can throw the ball, catch the ball, really do anything for the Panthers.
Farida wide to the right side, Calorie in the slot. Under the center calling signals now is Barrera on 1st and 10 from the 47. Handoff goes to the second man, Mondesir, and Mondesir gets about a yard, and that is all as he is wrapped up in there by Kendall Reyes, who led the charge, along with Kevin Cloutier, and it'll bring up a 2nd down and 9. 6 minutes remaining here in the first quarter at Stellos Stadium in the snow, and the North Titans lead the Panthers by a score of 6-0.
So far defensively for the Titans, a couple of underclassmen, Kendall Reyes and John Leon Gosselin, a junior and a sophomore respectively, doing a great job shutting down this Panther running attack.
Slot right formation. Calorie is wide to the left side from the shotgun. Barrera fakes the handoff. He's going to keep it in the quarterback option. Cuts down inside the 45, down to about the 43-yard line before he is brought down. Coming in to make the stop is number 10, Joe Cordero, and it'll bring up a 3rd down now and about 3 at about the 44-yard line of the Titans.
And so this is a big 3rd down here for both teams. South looking to continue this drive, and North would love to get some decent field position by forcing South to punt. You wonder if there'll be a lot of punts in this game. Special teams going to be a very interesting factor with this weather.
Well, we saw the point-after attempt by the Titans blocked. Whether that was because of the weather, don't know. Now the Titans jump offside, so that will give the Panthers a automatic first down with the mark-off, unless they rule they were drawn off. Bob Mercer has the chat with his officials, and it's going to be a dead ball encroachment penalty against the Titans, so that will bring it down to the 38-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Panthers.
And Barrera acting like a veteran there, maybe changing up the snap count. He got North to jump, automatic first down here at Stellos Stadium.
Double slot right. Lone, nobody in the backfield now. Everybody's spread out. And again, they fire a little flare pass out to the side, and it's picked off by Calorie. Calorie's down inside of 30, 25, 20, 10, 5, touchdown! 38-yard touchdown pass from Barrera to Calorie, and it's a 6-6 ball game.
Well, we saw that from Nashua North earlier in this game, Ed. It's that back screen and almost a lateral type play. You know, could be considered a running play almost because he throws the ball behind the line. But Calorie made a couple guys miss, broke a tackle. He was gone for 30-plus yards in the touchdown with an extra point. South can regain the lead here in the first quarter.
So take that. Touche. And now we're going to have number 33, John Montecalvo, who will try to kick the extra point, but South takes the timeout.
Yeah, they didn't have enough guys in the field that time, Ed, for the field goal group, or didn't have the personnel they needed. They're actually going to go out there and clean off a spot now for that extra point, so they'll take the timeout, use it here in the first half. They have 3 of them, and might as well take your time and set up for the extra point, because in a game like this, these extra points are doubly meaningful.
So a poor kickoff that just sputtered around after it went the 10 yards has assisted the Panthers with getting a good drive, beginning at their own 40, moving down, and then a 38-yard pass from Barrera to Calorie. And now we'll go for the extra point. And doing the holding will be number 18, and that is Mark Belanger. So we'll see now if the Panthers can take a lead. It's at 6-6 with 4:51 remaining here in the first half. Now it's Farida who steps in to do the holding. Waiting for the snap from center. It's down, it's up, and it's no good. Coming through to block it was big number 8 for the Titans, and that's Kevin Cloutier. So the two teams come back upfield, 6-6 the score.
4:51 left to play in the first period here at Stellos Stadium. kickoff is picked up by number 11, Brad Sapanis. And he is finally stopped by number 42, Mike LeFavor. Looks to be about the 35.
First and 10 for the North Titans at about their own 35-yard line. Handoff goes to the second man through, and that is number 8, and that's Cloutier for the Titans. Kevin Cloutier is a senior, 6'1", 220 pounds, and Dean is the man that snacks him up. A pickup on the play of a yard. It'll be second down and 9. 4:20 remaining here in the first quarter. 6-6 is our score. As Casey Hobson brings the Titans out of the huddle. Brad Zapenis wide to the right side. Out of the center, the backs in the I formation is Hobson. Hobson gives it to the second man through, and that is Kendall Reyes. Reyes tries to go off tackle, gets up to about the 44-yard line, and it's Nate Boyer who makes the stop. It'll bring up a third down now and 6.
And so we've seen a couple extra points here, Ed, as you mentioned. We've had trouble, 6-6 the score, 3:37 to play in the first quarter. And special teams, may end up being an extra point that wins this football game this afternoon, or this morning, I should say.
Now again, they go to that unorthodox lineup with just the center and the 2 guards. Hobson behind them, have a triple slot to the left. Backs go into the power I formation on 3rd and 6. Hobson pitches it back. Running with it is Reyes. Reyes trying to turn the corner. He does. He's up across midfield and knocked out of bounds as he crosses midfield, but that's going to be good enough for a first down. Now they're going to say he went out perhaps before the midfield marker. We'll see where they're going to place it down. It's going to be good for the first down, just touching the midfield stripe, which is just about obliterated again.
It is here, Ed, and then we're going to have a flag on this play as the officials, and we're going to get
procedure
legal
penalty.
Procedure, a false start right now on the Titans. So that'll negate that first down run, and they'll have to go back on, make a big third down conversion here.
So that'll bring up a 3rd and 11 for the Titans. The officials still having a discussion out there.
Well, it's probably going to take some time to mark off these penalties because they can't see the yard markers from there.
No.
They'll take their time with this and they'll get it right.
Well, it was smart. It was 3rd and 6, so you got to go 5 yards. So just put it 1 yard on the other side of the down marker.
There you go.
So the North calls a timeout, but we'll keep it here as a big third down play coming up here for the Titans. We have 3:09 remaining in the first quarter, and 6-6 is our score. And interesting, given the field conditions, there's been a couple of long runs after passes that have resulted in these scores.
And in a case like this, you tend to think the offense, or at least I do, has a little bit of an advantage because the offense has an idea of where they're going with the football. The defense is chasing it, and you make a reaction time in this type of snow, it's not quite as good. And you mentioned about 5-10 minutes ago, it started to taper off a little bit, Ed, and now we're looking outside at, I'd say, whiteout conditions here at Mata Field, Stellos Stadium with 3:09 to play. And it's actually gotten worse here in the last couple minutes or so. So we'll see how this field holds up. We'll see these players hold up. But so far offensively, at least on the field, the offense has benefited from this weather.
It really has. I was just going to say the same thing, Mike. A few minutes ago, it looked like this thing was letting up. And now it's just the intensity has picked up.
Really has.
So we'll see if the intensity is picked up with the players on the field, as it'll be a 3rd down and long 10 for the Titans.
And I think for the first time today, going into an orthodox offensive set with 5 offensive linemen.
And they pitch it back, and trying to turn the corner is Reyes. Reyes cuts inside, and he is taking down a nice open field tackle by Bill Ferreter for the Panthers, and they pick up a couple of yards, but that'll bring up a 4th down and our first punt of the morning.
With 2:53 to play here in the first quarter. You said it. Let's see how these punts go. And Ferreter, at least on the defensive side, starting to make his presence felt in this football game.
Chris Chassier will be back to do the punting, and it's just Paul Callery in single safety. Whether the Panthers try to put a little extra pressure on here, given the conditions, we'll see. Good snap from center, and Chaucer gets away. A high spiraling kick, takes a Titan roll, and then rolls dead. Rolled about a yard and then just died in the snow, and no chance for Callery to pick it up. Good coverage by the Titans, so the Panthers will take their second possession of the morning. With 2:25 to go, they are tied 6-6 here at Stellos Stadium in Turkey Bowl number 2.
And let's kind of reset the scene for our listeners joining in on ESPN Radio 900. This is, you said it, the weather is picking up here. It's snowing heavier, and I'd say it's got to be a good 3 inches of snow on the field here. And we laugh about it, but that punt literally rolled dead in the snow. They're outside the 30-yard line. And so this is going to be interesting as this game goes on. If it continues to snow like this, the snow is going to accumulate more and more, and it's going to have an effect on this game.
Hobson brings him up. Slot right formation. Wing to the left is Callery. Callery now goes in motion on 1st and 10. And Hobson gives it to Mondesir. Mondesir right up the middle. Breaks it up across the 40. Still across the midfield, the 50. Down to the 48-yard line before he is finally brought down by number 44. That is Sergi Filino. But a nice run there by Andy Mondesir, and brings the ball down to the Titan territory. 1st and 10 at about the 49-yard line of the Titans.
And the South offensive line starting to get some push there. Barrera, the handoff to Mondesir, busted that gap up the middle for a big game, and Mondesir starting to get that running game going.
Slot left formation. Lone running back is Mondesir as Hobson calls signals. Callery in motion. Callery again deviates, and he goes to Mondesir. He breaks a tackle. He's across the 40. 35-30, 25-20. Touchdown, 49 yards for Andy Mondesir. Off tackle to the right side, and it's 12-6 Panthers.
2 carries and 78 yards right there for Andy Mondesir as he busted up the right side. And then now that South offensive line starting to get a big push there and starting to get that running game going. And in the midst of this snow, South takes advantage. And as you just said, the offense so far has been the ones taking advantage of this bad weather. And Mondesir, 2 carries, 68 yards, and a touchdown on that drive.
So now we'll try for 1 or 2 here. We'll see what Scott Knight's thinking is as Bill Ferreda has gone in. He will hold if they're going to go for the kick, or he may play quarterback, and Ferreda is. He brings him up, ends in tight, power I formation, going for 2. Quick count, quick snap, and it's Ferreda on the quarterback keeper. He turns the corner. He's in for the 2 points. It's 14-6. The Panthers lead. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
Exciting game so far. First quarter, 20 points. Yeah, we were starting to get some interference with the antenna, so I had to reposition outside. I'm sorry about that.
It's all right. So, Frank, I told you about the 12:30. If it keeps up like this, make it a little longer.
Yeah, it sounds. I can hear it in the headset. It sounds great. I just tilted it left. I don't know. It's angled at a weird angle. I don't know how it's. I don't know what interfered with it, but as long as it's got. That's what I want to check. Make sure it sounds okay. Because you're in there. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I mean, keep running around. Sounds good. Clear as a bell. Good.
Monty Calvo gets set to tee it up. Back deep, Nate Forsyth and Reyes. It's a sputtering kick. Gets by Reyes. He's having trouble picking it up. Now he does. Reyes breaks it up to the right side. Still on his feet. Breaks up across the 35. Up to about the 44-yard line before he is brought down. So a nice return after he was able to get a handle on the ball. It was like a hot potato out there. And the Titans will take over in good field position with 1:46 remaining here in the first quarter. 20 points scored already, and who knows what, we weren't sure what kind of a game this was going to be here. And
it's been exciting.
Obviously, passing and running has been the call of the morning so far. Hobson brings him up. The backs are split slot left formation. 1st and 10 about his own 40-yard line. Titans trailing 14-6. and Hobson. Again, that little flare-out pass to Forsyth. Forsyth tries to cut back in, and a flag is thrown after the play, so that will stop the clock, and we'll see what happens. Again, that little lateral side pass that was very successful for the Titans in their first series. It's going to be a chop block called against the Titans, so that's going to penalize them, as they actually, from where the official is standing, the ball's placed, they probably lost 2 yards on that play anyway, but now they are going to lose even more as the first major penalty of the morning is going to be assessed.
And penalty's been a factor, a couple of false starts, legal procedures, and backing North up. And North content with throwing the football here. They're running a lot of these wide receiver screens to both left and right behind the line of scrimmage in some cases, and looks like they're pretty content with that offense and have not had a whole lot of success trying to run the ball straight forward.
Now the official doing the best he can to mark off the 15 yards, and he'll put the ball all the way back to about the 24, 25-yard line. It'll be a 1st and 25 for the Titans as Hobson brings them up. Wide to the right side is Ryan Hayford. Slot left is Zapenis. Hobson calling signals, hands it to the second man through, and running with it is Reyes. Reyes comes up across the 30 to about the 32-yard line before he is upended in there by Mark Belanger. A pickup on the play of about 10 yards. It'll be second down and either 16, so a pickup of about 9 yards. So 2nd and 16 for the Titans. The ball is on about the 34-yard line.
And a straight-ahead run that time for Reyes. He bounced outside and picked up a good chunk of change.
Back split behind Hobson, slot right formation. Hobson gives it to the second man through, and running with it is number 3 for the Titans, and that's Dan Murray. And Murray gets a couple back to the original line of scrimmage, the 39-yard line, so that'll bring up a 3rd down and 10. 3rd and 10, under a minute to go here in the first quarter. The South Panthers leading 14-6, and all of the scores coming on long runs despite the weather, as the snow appears to be lightening up just a little bit.
Like last time we said that, though, it got heavy
up
again. So we'll see as we approach the end of the first quarter here, and we'll see if Nashua gets off one more play and they get back to the line of scrimmage. North does, and the original line. This makes up a 3rd and 10.
Hobson out of the center calling signals, backs in the I formation. On 3rd and 10, Hobson dropping back to pass. Has time, fires it over the middle. It gets deflected and overthrown, intended for Scotty O'Neill. So that'll bring up a 4th down. Stops the clock with 8 seconds to go, so we'll have time for a punt before the two teams will switch spots in the first quarter. We'll go into the history books. And for those of you who are watching on TV 16, we hope that you're enjoying this. And wish you could have been here. Would have been more exciting.
Hey, maybe they were here and now they're watching it again on Saturday.
That could be too. The punt is a high end-over-end kick, not much distance. It bounces around. This time takes a Titan roll and is finally downed by number 3, Murray, at about the 36-yard line. And that's where they'll take over 1st and 10. But the first quarter is history. The Panthers 14. The Titans 6. We'll be back in 60 seconds. All right, the first quarter is history here at Stellos. It's 14-6, the Panthers leading the Titans. I'm Ed Leishus along with Mike Bernansky, thanking you for joining us on the broadcast. As the snow continues, it is lightening up, but we say that with some hesitation because when we said that back in the first quarter, it picked up in intensity. I'd say there's about 3 or 4 inches out there, as the Panthers will have it 1st and 10 at about their own 35-yard line. Barrera from the shotgun brings him up slot left formation on 1st and 10, first play of the second quarter. Long count, hands it off to the first man through, and that is Paul Callery. Callery breaks it up off tackle, slips and falls, and a little hesitation there by the official, and finally blows him down after a pickup of about 9 yards on the play. It'll bring up a second down and 1.
Well, Calorie and Mondesir are the ones picking up the yardage, but what a job up front by this offensive line for Nashua South. And Nashua North has got to start tackling better. They've had some opportunities early on. Goslin and Cloutier and Reyes were there, and right now they're not making the tackles. The offensive line for South is starting to dominate this football game, and Mondesir and Calorie are picking up some big yardage and big chunks.
Farida comes wide to the left. In the slot to the left, it is Calorie. And this time up under the center is Barrera on second and a yard. Hands off the second man through. Mondesir. Mondesir breaks up across midfield, still on his feet, down to the 48-yard line, and the first down before he is brought down by number 4, Kendall Reyes, in the secondary. But it's going to be good for a first down. And the ball is on the 49-yard line of the Titans, 1st and 10. For the Panthers.
And the 5'4", 150-pound senior Mondesir, who you referenced, and some is off-the-field stuff and fighting through some family issues. Man, he is doing a heck of a job running the football, and maybe a case of the Titans not being able to see him. He is only 5'4". He's hiding behind those linemen and picking up huge chunks of yardage.
Certainly is a senior, wanting to probably have a game that he'll long remember, and thus far it will be. In motion, Calorie, play action again. Mondesir gets the handoff. He's up across 45, down inside the 40, down to close to the first down marker at the 39-yard line before he is stacked up. Coming in to make the stop from the secondary for the North Titans was Ryan Hayford. It's going to be close. We'll see where they mark it. Bob Mercer says not quite, so it'll be second and a yard.
And Mondesir here early in the second quarter, Ed, is approaching and has just eclipsed that 100-yard mark on the ground already. So doing a very good job at 78 yards on 2 carries, and has been a big focal point of this drive as well.
Again, the slot left formation, and this time from the shotgun, it is Barrera. Barrera on the quarterback option, and gets a couple of yards as he's tripped up, coming in to make a nice play for the North Titans was number 9, Tommy Mulcahy, a senior, 5'9", 195 pounds, but it was enough for the first down. So he's down to the 37-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Panthers. They lead 14-6, 9:50 remaining here in the second quarter of play. And of course, you heard the coaches, Scott Knight, hoping for a repeat of last year's game. Handoff goes to Mondesir, breaks off tackle, still on his feet, cuts inside, down across the 35. Close to the 30-yard line, and they'll actually mark it at about the 30, inside the 30, about the 28-yard line. It'll be a second down, 2nd and 2.
And Mondesir wears number 22, and he's tearing through this North defense like Emmitt Smith used to with the Dallas Cowboys wearing the 2-2, and has been very effective up the middle. He's breaking tackles, he's finding open space, and is on his way to a heck of a day here, over 100 yards rushing here in the second quarter.
Slot right formation. Again from the shotgun, Joe Barrera. Now Barrera doesn't like what he sees, so he calls a timeout, and he'll want to come over and talk. He and Mondesir having a little discussion there about the formation and the play that they wanted to call. Coming up at halftime, the band will probably perform in place, but also there'll be a presentation made by Father Odie, who is the chairperson of the Nashua Pastoral Care Center, and he will be presenting the Penny Drive plaque to the Nashua football team because they had the highest number of participants in the recent Penny Drive. The two teams provided the most help of any group in the surrounding high schools, and their efforts helped the Penny Drive raise $40,000 this year.
Wow.
The Care Center uses that money to help needy women and children in our community, so the two high school teams will be honored with a plaque for their extracurricular community service efforts on behalf of the penny pickers here in Nashua.
They'll certainly need to be awarded for their hard work, and certainly the Penny Drive, a huge part of the city. And 40, that's a great number, and a holiday like this, it's great to hear that the city got behind that and raised so much money. Great job.
You know, and when you see things like that, Mike, you wonder when these surveys come out that says New Hampshire is probably the cheapest state when it comes to donations and giving. Certainly not here in this area. I mean, I look what the kids at Manchester West did, and the city of Manchester for those folks who at CCT that lost their jobs last week. I don't know who they're talking to. It's just like all these surveys they do. I've never been called for any of these national surveys.
Nor have I.
It's a second and a long 3. for the Panthers from the shotgun again. Barrera calling signals, has a slot left formation, long count. And this time he gives the handoff, and it is Callery. Callery turns the corner, has the first down inside the 30. Still on his feet, not out of bounds. At about the 29-yard line, but that's going to be good for a first down.
And it was Joe Lopez, number 20, with a tremendous block on that play to spring Callery left side. His teammates are all over him right now, so celebrating with Lopez because he just blew up one of those Titan defenders, cleared up. Great spot down the left sideline, and Callery able to pick up the first down.
They mark it at about the 28-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Panthers, threatening to blow this game wide open. They lead 14-6. We've got 8:40 remaining here in the first quarter. Barrera over talking to Coach Scott Knight while they set the ball and get set for the next offensive play. Ferreter goes wide to the right side. Lopez is the slot to the right, wide out to the left. It is Callery from the shotgun. The handoff goes to Mondesir again. No, it's a keeper by the quarterback. A nice bit of ball fake there by Barrera. Barrera cuts down inside to about the 25-yard line. And it's a pickup of about 3. Call it 2nd down and 7. 2nd and 7, as coming in to make the stop was Mulcahy for the North and number 3, Danny Murray. So 2nd and 7. In motion now, Callery. He slips and falls. Mondesir gets the handoff straight up the middle. Mondesir, touchdown! Andy Mondesir, 27 yards up the gut. And it is now 20-6, the Panthers.
And Mondesir continues to tear up that North Titan defense, finding the middle of that defense. And North is not making tackles, Ed. The opportunities, Mondesir too quick a foot. Maybe this weather playing into his running style because he runs low to the ground, makes some nice moves, and is into the end zone once again for the Purple Panthers. And they've taken the air out of this Nashua North offense that started the game with those screen plays but hasn't seen the field in a while.
Actually, that was about a 16-yard run as I readjust my focus to the sideline markers. What was interesting on that play, too, Callery had gone in motion. He slipped and fell, and there was a little bit of confusion in the backfield as the handoff was taking place, but good focus by Mondesir. They're going for 2 again. Ferreter has trouble with the ball as he can't control the snap, and now the play is blown dead. A flag is thrown, and my guess would be one of the Panthers were not set, and it'll be a procedure penalty. No, the Panthers are clapping their hands. Maybe somebody jumped on the Titan side of the ball. But it looks like it's going to go back. Dead ball foul, legal procedure against the Panthers. So now we'll see if they still go for 2 or decide to kick it.
Well, I was going to say, I think Scott Knight has scrapped the whole field goal kicking idea in this weather, and possibly when Jason Roby, and if this team gets back in the end zone, he may do the same. At this point, with the 2 kicks we've seen, the extra points have not come close. You may think these teams are just going to go for 2 the rest of the way because of this weather, and Nashua South trying to cap off an 8-play, 69-yard drive that was capped off by Andy Mondesir's 15-yard touchdown run.
Well, South's got to call another timeout here because they were bringing Mondesir and Callery back into play, and rather than run the risk here, even though it's points after, they decided to take a timeout and get organized because at the rate points are being scored, this could be a critical 2-point conversion here.
And with 7:43 to play in the second quarter, South is really taking the air out of the North offense. They've had the ball for a long time. We said it, 8 plays, 69 yards on the backs of Callery and Mondesir. But let's credit the offensive line for South. They're starting to get some good push. And a good block by Joe Lopez, and many good blocks along that drive. And for Jason Roby's North team, well, they simply have to start tackling better when they can get their hands on a guy like Mondesir or Callery with those runs up the middle.
Well, the lights are now coming on here at Stellos Stadium as the skies continue gray and the snow is very fine right now. They're going out of the shotgun. Slot right, wide to the left side is Ferreter. Callery is the lone running back next to Barrera, and they fake the handoff to Callery. They fire it out to Ferreter, and it is behind him as he slips and falls going to the end zone. So they come back upfield. The Panthers 20, the Titans 6. John Monte Calvo gets set to kick it away for the Panthers. They lead by a score of 20-6. That's a short one. It gets by not Calorie. It gets by number 5 for the Justin Reyes for the Titans. And finally, it is covered up by number 11, and that is Brad Zepenis. And they will mark it down at about the 40. About the 40-yard line, it looks like.
Yeah, we're seeing not only the extra points, almost be useless to attempt, but these kickoffs are just line drives. Guys are not able to plant their feet and get some body weight behind it. And as we say that, North goes back into that 3-lineman offense. 4 guys spread right, 1 left.
Well, that worked for them early, so we'll see now what happens. Now the back shift into the power eye behind Hobson. And it is a pitch back. Kendall Reyes trying to turn the corner, gets a block, and that hole closes very quickly. Leading the charge for the Panthers was number 63. And he's not on the program. That's a great play for him. So these magic plays we saw earlier during the warm-ups, we thought Jason was cheating. He had 2 number 7s out there.
He did. One of those Hobson, the other one of the backup quarterbacks, and 63, we'll just call him 63 till we get his name.
No gain, so the second down and 10. Again, single back. Reyes goes in motion now. Hobson under the center, calling signals, hands it off to the big fullback, and that is number 44 running out of the fullback slot, and that is Sergei Filino, a junior, 5'10", 180 pounds. He picks up 2 yards. It'll be second down and 8. Third and 8, excuse me, with 6.5 minutes remaining here in the first half, and the South leads it by a score of 20-6. And as we said, Scotty Knight was hoping to reverse the fortunes. Last year, the Panthers won the season opener, lost Turkey Day. This year, the Titans won the season opener, and they're hoping that it will repeat. 3rd and 8 in motion. It is Ryan Hayford, and there was a reverse and snuffed out nicely by the Purple Panthers. Number 42 in the backfield, Mike Lefevre, as they try to do a reverse, and Lefevre brought Reyes down just as the handoff took place. They lose 4 on the play. It'll be 4th and 14.
And any momentum North had after that opening drive and the big play for a touchdown has gone out the window. South has now forced them to punt on 3 straight possessions. They've run down the gut on offense. South is dominating this game here in the second quarter.
Chassier back to punt. Good snap from center. Has time, and he gets away a good end-over-end kick. Calorie picks it up, and he is downed immediately. As good coverage downfield for the Titans. Number 30 led the charge, Eric Congdon, and also number 44, Sergei Filino. So the Panthers will take possession of the football again at their own 30-yard line, 1st and 10, 5:24 remaining here. The Panthers lead it 20-6 at halftime. Mike will be talking with Tom King from the Telegraph, get his thoughts on this first half of action. And we'll have some stats from his brother Matt as we bring you Turkey Bowl 2.
And South dominating so far in this Turkey Bowl 2.
And the handoff goes to the second man through, and Andy Mondesier again. And he gets a couple of yards before he is brought down by Tom Mulcahy, who's doing a good job on defense for the Titans this morning. It'll be a second down and 8.
And so South just, it's nothing fancy here. They just continue to pound the football up the middle. The running backs, Mondesir and Calorie, are finding seams in that defense, and the Titans have not tackled well here in the second quarter. And I assume that Scott Knight will keep pounding that football.
And a little sideline flare pass is complete out there to Calorie as he works his way up the sidelines. He's across the 40 and knocked out of bounds at about the 41-yard line. Coming in to make the stop was Ryan Hayford from his linebacker position, but it's going to be good enough for a first down.
And a lot of wide receiver screens from both offenses here in this first half. And as you said, Ed, these teams had 2.5 weeks to prepare, changed up the playbook a little bit, and I think both coaches found their way to the wide receiver screen part of the football playbook as North and South have run those for some pretty big gains here in the first half.
Yeah, and it wasn't until the latter part of last week that there was talk about weather being a factor here this morning. So certainly any planning with respect to weather conditions were a late addition. Now on the handoff, great defensive plays coming through for the Titans was number 6, and that's John Leon Gosselin, as he actually hit Barrera before he could hand the ball off to Mondesier, and the loss on the play of 4. It'll be a 2nd and 14.
And he's a sophomore, but he's made his presence felt in this football game, along with Justin Reyes and Thomas Mulcahy, Kevin Cloutier, some guys that have stepped up here defensively, but it's been John Leon Gosselin, name you've called out multiple times here in this first half. He's gotten through that south offensive line and made some nice plays in the backfield.
Clock running, 4 minutes remaining here in the first half, 20-6. The Panthers leading.
And the snow continues to taper here.
We hope. Again from the shotgun. Slot right formation, and now motion. Nate Boyer and the offensive line jumped, and so they will mark it back. And it'll be a 2nd down and 19. Veteran referee Bob Mercer, and again, this is about his 25th, 26th Turkey Bowl game that he has been in. And I don't want to count the number of football, basketball, and baseball games that Bob has officiated during his career.
It's those guys who enable high school sports to happen that are willing to officiate different sports and do a good job at it.
2nd and 19, slot right formation from the shotgun. Barrera calling signals. High pass from center. Barrera hands it off. Mondesier trying to turn the corner, and this time he is wrapped up, thrown for a loss. Reyes is in there along with number 54 for the Titans, and that is Sean Reed. And they lose more yardage all the way back to the 30-yard line. And that'll bring up a 3rd down at about 23.
And I don't think it's any kind of big adjustment for the Titans here on this drive, Ed. They're just making tackles now. You said it. Reed that time, Gosselin before. They're seeing the football better now. They're identifying who's got the ball out of the backfield, and they're chasing that guy down. They're making good defensive plays.
Fair to wide to the right side. Mondesier, the lone running back, double slot right. Barrera hands it off to Mondesier. Now the quarterback keeper. Barrera gets hit in the backfield and spun around on a nice defensive play by John Leon Gosselin, who spun him around, slowed him down, and then the finishing hit came in from Kendall Reyes, and that will bring up a 4th down and about 24, 25, and North will take a timeout to stop the clock with 2:36 remaining, and they ought to get some pretty decent field position on this punt. So we will see, as they would sure like to get a score before the half, trailing 20-6.
And Reyes made the big hit. You mentioned it. Barrera was kind of caught up. He was leg tackle was still in the sight of Reyes, and Reyes just popped them one. Biggest hit of the football game so far. Barrera goes down, another loss, and a win there that time for the North defense as they sniffed out the running plays of South, and as you said, should get some good field position here as they'll be forced to punt. And if North can get any kind of return, they're going to be set up pretty much in South territory.
Ferreter standing inside his own 15-yard line. Single safety for the Titans is Nate Forsyth. Ferreter clears a spot, waiting for the pass from center. Good snap. Kick is up. It's an end-over-end kick. It's low, and Forsyth is going to let it roll dead, and it's down finally at about the 44-yard line, and so the North Titans will take over at their own 44 with 2.5 minutes remaining. They trail 20-6 here in the first half on ESPN 900 and TV 16 in Nashua. Happy Thanksgiving Day.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving. A good roll that time on the Ferreter punt, bounces into North territory. And, with 2:36 to play and maybe a timeout or two left, they can start to move the football. Let's see if they throw the football as they did earlier in this football game. As they go back to a traditional 5 lineman set.
Hobson under center calling signals. Hands it off to the second man through. That's Kendall Reyes. Reyes breaks up across midfield. Down into Panther territory. Down to about the 46, 47-yard line before he is brought down by Bill Ferreter and Joe Barrera. Pickup of 9. It'll be 2nd and a yard.
And a good run that time by Reyes. He found the seam and some good explosion to get right to that first down marker. Officials will wave timeout here and maybe measure this thing, Ed.
I think that's what's going to happen. The official timeout to measure. So that will give both teams a chance to catch their breath a little and figure out their next option. Trying to find the yard line so they can they can come in from the closest yard line. Now they're looking for it. They're digging in the field. They're digging on the sideline. These are tough conditions for everyone, but especially the officials when it comes to critical things like this, such as measurements.
And I had assumed, I guess wrongfully so, that with all the movement on the field, that it would start to clear up some spots, but it is still 2 to 3 inches deep throughout this field covered. You can't see the line markers. You cannot see the turkey in the middle of the field. You can't see the end zones. It is completely covered, and we're sure at halftime they'll probably go out and try to blow some of the yard markers off with the snowblower, but right now it's tough.
They found the 50, so they'll have a point of reference to bring the chains in from. So they will bring them in for a measurement. 2:14, 2:19 remaining here in the first half. It's 20-6. The South Panthers.
And I just found out the Titans have one timeout remaining, 2:14 on the clock here in the first half, and obviously clock will stop on the first down, so that'll help them out a little bit. But if they need it, they still have one timeout left in their pocket.
Oh, we were right, Mike. Second and 1.
We had it. I don't know why they measured it. You told them from 70 feet away or 100 yards away.
Backs in the eye behind Casey Hobson. His dad Butch is in attendance at the game here today. Long count by Hobson. Gives it to the second man through. Reyes. Reyes breaks, has the first down and more as he breaks down to about the 41-yard line, and it'll be a first down for the Titans at the Panthers' 41-yard line.
Clock sits at 2:04. They'll stop it and start it here on first downs. And Kendall Reyes starting to be the workhorse for this North offense.
Ends are split. Backs in the eye behind Hobson on 1st and 10 at the Panther 41-yard line. Again, handed off goes to Reyes again. Runs into traffic. Breaks a tackle. Still on his feet. Crosses down inside the 40. Down to about the 39-yard line before he is stacked up. Man on the bottom of the pile for the Panthers was Mark Belanger.
And they'll still huddle up here. Clock running, 1:36 to play in the half, and Hobson ran to the sideline, got the play, and Nashua taking their time here, the Titans, with only 90 seconds to play here in the first half. They trail 20-6.
2nd and 5. The ball's marked at the 46-yard line. Reyes again gets the handoff, fights forward, and it'll be a 3rd down, and now a timeout is called by the Titans, and that will be their last timeout. They'll have a 3rd and 3 facing them with 1:12 to go here in the first half.
And he's got 5 carries for 24 yards on this drive, does Kendall Reyes, and much different than the offense we saw to open this football game for the Titans and Jason Roby. They had 3 down linemen. They had flanked 4 receivers right, 1 left, couple guys in the backfield, and were content with throwing the football. And now I think because of the weather conditions, Jason Roby has seen the success that the Scott Knight's team has had running the football up the gut, and they're trying to emulate that right now, and Kendall Reyes, the beneficiary, as he's running the football right at the middle of the south.
The ball is on the 34-yard line of the Panthers. 3rd and 3. But even more importantly, the Titans would like to get 6 up there before going in at halftime.
And they use their final timeout here with 1:12 to play. They'll still get the clock stops out of bounds and first down, but we'll see if Casey Hobson goes into a no huddle and try to save some time as he's trying to get up to the line, but there's still some of those non-players and non-officials on the field who came out to clear off those yard markers.
We'll have to give Al Neville a hard time as he was jogging off there, and now we got whistles as there was a mishandle on the snap. We got to give Al credit. The other night he heard us, and we talked about Greg Landry growing up in the French Hill area, and Al said, don't forget, we grew up. And so, yes, Al Neville grew up off Jefferson Street up there in French Hill, just down the street from where Greg Landry grew up.
He would have reminded you if you didn't mention that today.
He did the other day. That was the first thing out of his mouth. Hobson now, the quarterback keeper, trying to turn the corner, slows down and tries to cut it back, and he is tripped up. As a great defensive play by number 83, and that's Brett Wilcox. And so the Purple Panthers will take over on downs with 43 seconds remaining. They lead 20-6 here in Turkey Bowl 2.
And on that play, Hobson rolled right. I think it was a busted play because he wasn't really looking to throw the football. He had two hands on it. If he had looked up, he had Ryan Hayford wide open on the right side, probably for a touchdown, minimum first down. He did not see him, could not get the pass off. Blown up in the backfield. South takes over with 43 to play here in the first half.
So we'll see if Scott Knight is content to just run the clock out.
And the success they've had running the football, might as well take a few shots here.
Burra under center, calling signals. In motion, Callery. Fake goes to Callery, hands it off to Mondesier, trying to cut to the outside, has a block, turns the corner, still on his feet, up across midfield, down into Titan territory, and a first down.
And that's why, Andy Mondesier, that's why if you're Nashua South, you continue to push the gas pedal. Do not let up on it. You've got a lot of momentum, still 34 seconds to play, and the ball right around midfield.
So, senior Andy Mondesier having a great morning so far for his Panthers, and Callery, Barrera, Ferreter, the whole offensive unit doing a great job out there for Scott Knight's Purple Panthers. First and 10 at the 47-yard line of the Titans. From the shotgun, Barrera calling signals, fakes the handoff, passes it to Bill Ferreter on a slant in. Ferreter trying to get some blocks as he goes across the grain. He fumbles as he falls, as he was tackled in there by Eric Congdon, but he recovered his own fumble.
And a flag on the
flag is thrown, so we'll see what is going to be determined.
In the vicinity of the face mask, it came down right at the point of tackle, and we'll see if it was inadvertent.
Holding against the Panthers.
There you go. Wrong
so
again.
So they'll mark it back, and that will bring up a first and 25. With 3 seconds remaining here in the first half, the Panthers, that's one of the few mistakes they've made this morning.
And running the football, it's been a great effort for them. And let's go back and mention the fact that in bad weather games, South was very good this year. The only team to beat Pinkerton Division I, Ed, was the Nashua South Purple Panthers. That was on a very rainy night. And so far in this Turkey Bowl Thanksgiving morning, they're taking advantage of this bad weather as well.
Well, you talk about this, because of the field here, it's not a mudder field, but certainly the monsoon that they beat Pinkerton in, and this one here is they take a knee, and the first half ends here at Stellos Stadium. The Panthers of Nashua High School South 20, the Titans of North 6.
You know, some snacks are a lot of trouble. I wish it were easier.
Snacks with edible wrappers would be a much better idea. What about fruits and vegetables?
Just wash and eat. Blueberries, pears, and tomatoes. How fast and easy was that? Join me next time when we'll learn the secrets of making a salad.
Welcome back, Montefield, Stellos Stadium. Ed Leishus and Mike Bodansky. Second half just around the corner. Second annual Turkey Bowl. Glad you could join us here on ESPN Radio 900, ESPN900.com, WSMN 1590, part of Absolute Broadcasting. And Saturday at 6 p.m., TV 16 will have the rebroadcast of this game here today. Great job of them to come over here and help out. And certainly Frank, the camera guy here, doing a great job as well. And certainly thank him and all that Channel 16 has done. And a lot of hard work from this group and to get this thing together. We appreciate that. The city appreciates that. And certainly we're proud to provide them with audio for the rebroadcast. A couple of stats here before we get this thing going here for Nashua South. I mentioned Andy Mondesier, 120 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Paul Callery, 65 yards, a touchdown, accounting for the 3 scores for the South Purple Panthers. North, Casey Hobson, 1 for 2, that 83-yard touchdown pass. And Kendall Ray is 34 yards rushing. Some of the team stats here, South with 15 first downs in the first half, moving that ball 239 yards, 2 penalties for 15 yards, 29 plays. They had 10 more plays than North did. North garnering 3 first downs, 105 yards. Ed Leach is back here for the second half and had a very entertaining first half of football. And you talk about South and North and what we're expecting with the field. I'm pretty impressed with what I've seen, and it's entertained me for a couple halves, and I'm sure a lot of people watching and listening are entertained as well.
Well, 26 points under the conditions that they played most of that first half in, Mike, certainly speaks to the determination of both clubs. A couple of new wrinkles shown by both teams, and relatively penalty-free game. Couple of minor face mask infractions and one blocking infraction called in that first half. But other than that, a pretty good ball game. I think that the fans who did make it out here this morning certainly getting their money's worth.
Oh, yeah.
And, working up that appetite for dinner later on. And to start the second half now, we will have the Titans receiving, defending the goal to our right, your left, and Nashua will be kicking off to, Panthers will be kicking off to Nashua. Nashua will kick off to Nashua to get the second half started. And again, the snow is all but stopped.
Yeah.
A couple of flurries spitting, but certainly acted as a silencer on the metal bleachers. Didn't have to worry about feet stomping this morning, causing a problem with the neighbors. And across the way, the Titan fans who have stayed, a lot of them are standing, either in the bleachers or along the sidelines, although, as I found when they first played the first game here a year ago, the season opener, you're from Nashua, so you can sit on either side of the field. And I think Charlie Ketsoa summed it up by saying that as you worked the gate, you knew everybody coming in, versus you knew some of the Girton folks when it was a Nashua Girton game and didn't know all of them. The last time this game was not played, Thanksgiving Day, was 1975. It was an ice storm. The game was canceled Thursday morning, and they played at Holman at 5 p.m. on Friday afternoon.
Wow.
And it was a raw Friday afternoon football game back then. That was the only time the game has been canceled on Thanksgiving Day and in modern history. The last one before that was 1968, when it was canceled when Nashua played Gardner, and it was played on a Saturday afternoon.
Wow.
In a quagmire at Holman Stadium. I'll tell you about that one a little later. As the kickoff is a short end-over-end kick taken by one of the upmen for the Titans, and it's number 44, and that is Sergei Filino. And so the Titans will take over in good field position on their own 40-yard line to get things started. That game in 68 was Buzz Harvey's last game. They played Gardner. It had been an ice storm Thanksgiving Day, and on that Saturday, the temperature was 60. It was a quagmire. Nashua came out, wore all white the first half. To psych Gardner out, they changed at halftime, came out in all purple.
I like it.
Gardner still won. 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line. Backs in the I formation. Hobson gives it to the second man through, and that is Kendall Reyes. And he is going nowhere as Joe Lopez slows him up, and then a cast of thousands come in to put the clinching tackle on him as he loses 7 yards on the play, all the way back to the 32. And now they bring it up a little, so it's about 5, so it'll be a 2nd and 15. The ball is at the 35-yard line, just underway here in the third quarter. Turkey Bowl 2, North versus South. Onto the center, calling signals. Hobson, long count. Hobson gives it to the second man, Reyes again. Reyes again is wrapped up in the backfield, as coming up from the linebacker position was Nate Boyer, a senior, 5'9", 190 pounds.
Great defensive play that time. And Joe Lopez, the play before you mentioned, it blew up the Kendall Reyes play right. And I've seen Joe Lopez now, not going to show up in the stat sheet, but 2 exceptional plays. One blocking for Paul Calley on offense, and then that time defensively the first play of the second half. Great job of the Panthers. They're carrying over here from this second quarter.
3rd and 15. Ends are split, backs in the eye. Hobson calling signals at his own 35-yard line. Drops back to pass, looks, fires down the flat, and it is incomplete through the hands of Brad Zepenis. And so that'll be 3 and out and bring up a 4th down and force Chris Chaucier to line up in punt formation for the 3rd time today.
Well,
so far he's been successful in getting his kicks away.
And the offense for Nashua North is going to be on a milk carton somewhere. This thing, they've got to find something to get this thing going. Casey Hobson earlier in this football game with those screens was able to do it, but now 6 of the last 9 plays, Ed, have been running plays to Kendall Reyes.
And Chaucier does get away. It's a high end-over-end kick, and is going to be picked up by Callery. Callery at his own 35, and he is dumped as a crushing tackle by number 8 for the Titans, and that is Kevin Cloutier, another senior on this ball club. And it'll be 1st and 10 about the 31-yard line of the South Panthers. And we'll see. I mean, the Titans, since they went away from that odd lineup where it was just the center of the 2 guards and Hobson and everybody else to the right or left, have seemed to have stalled. They tried to go back to that, but it hasn't worked for them.
Yeah, I don't know if the weather's playing a factor, but certainly their offense needs a boost of something because defensively South is dominating. When they run the football, the Panthers have gotten pretty much what they've wanted. They go back on offense here again.
All right, from the shotgun, the handoff goes to Calorie. Gets away from 2 guys in the backfield, but just too much delay, and he is stopped in there by Reyes, and a flag is thrown by the official after the tackle is made.
And it was Sean Reed again on the play for the Titans. He's made a nice defensive set here. Reed, just a junior, he'll be back and part of a very talented linebacking core for Jason Roby's ball club as he checks out, but there is a flag on the play. It's going to be a personal foul against the Titans there, Ed.
I think they're going to call a late hit there, and, you know, given the field conditions and everything, I wonder about that one.
I agree with your wonderment on that call as well.
There was a lot. I mean, he did a nice job. Calorie did. He had been delayed in the backfield just by the footing, reversed his field, and they are calling an unnecessary roughness penalty on the Titans, which is a tough blow because that brings the ball all the way from the 31 to the 46-yard line, 1st down and 10.
1st and 10 now, and South goes back, and now a spread offense. 4 wide receivers for Joey Barrera.
Mondesir, the lone running back, that little pitch out to the side, the lateral to the man out on the wing, and that was number 24, and that was Dave Zacco, and he is knocked out of bounds by Condon as he picked up no yardage on the play, so it'll be a 2nd down and 10.
Well, they'll call it a gain of, let's say, 1.5, 2 yards here, Ed, but that little bubble screen to Zacco, just a freshman, and talking with Scott Knight, he said that Zacco had performed well in practice the last 2.5 weeks and that he'd see some playing time, and a good play call there as they try to spread Nashua North out, and suspect they'll try to run the ball up the middle once they get this defense spread.
Slot left formation, and the handoff goes to Mondesir. He gets stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Leading the charge is Tom Mulcahy again for the Titans. Pickup of about a yard. It'll bring up a 3rd and 8.
And that
short
time,
8, long 8, short 9.
Good job by Mulcahy and that interior defense for the Titans. Never let Mondesir get to that 2nd level. They found the running back, and they got him for a loss, and it'll be a big 3rd down here for the Titans. They've got nothing going offensively in the last quarter and a half. A stop here would be huge for them. Get the ball back and maybe go back to that early game offense of Hobson and guys like Hayford out wide.
Slot right, slot left. Barrera all alone in the backfield. Dropping back to pass. Fires it on the flat. Again, it's complete, and they flip it as a lateral to Calorie after the pass was completed to Ferreter. He started one way, and then they give it back to Calorie in a misdirection, and it goes for no gain as a good defensive job by the Titans, and it's 3 and out by the Panthers. So both teams a little tentative here in the early going of the 2nd half.
And a variation of the hook and ladder on that play. They threw it out left for the screen and pitched back to Calorie, and North sniffed it out. Trickeration does not work. They're forced to punt to the Titans.
Ferreter standing back inside his own 30 to kick it away. It's a
good punt.
Good kick, and it is going to be taken out of bounds by Forsyth. Nate breaks up across the 30, 35, up across the 40, still on his feet, up to about the 46, 47-yard line, maybe even closer to midfield. We'll see once they mark it down. He's finally brought down in there by Grant Gray, a junior defensive back. And that's where the Titans will take off 1st and 10. They put it at about the 49-yard line.
8:06 to play here in the 3rd quarter. This is a huge offensive series. They've got to at least get a 1st down here, take some pressure off that Titan defense. They've been on the field for a long time.
Ends in tight. High formation. Hobson calling signals, gives it the 2nd man through. Kendall Reyes tries to go up the gut, and he's met by a sea of purple jerseys. You know, the only 2 guys standing were Lopez and Ferreter. The rest were in on the tackle that time. Gain of a yard, 2nd down and 9.
Hey, Kevin Doherty in there, number 82, just a sophomore. 7 of the last 10 offensive plays for the Titans have gone to Kendall Reyes out of the backfield or swung with a short passing play. So they have really gone away, Ed, from that early offensive attack where they spread guys out wide, and a much more normal formation here for North, but it's not working.
2nd down, 9. Hobson under the center, calling signals, dropping back to pass. Looks right, fires left. It's complete and dropped in and out of the hands of Ryan Hayford. He was covered on the play by number 2 Ferrida and number 54, and that is Nate Boyer.
And Hayford's still down on the play. That pass was in and out of his hands, and he's checking on lying on the ground right now. We hope he's okay. Trainer's coming out to check with him, and hopefully he's okay.
So a official's timeout while they tend to him. And while they're doing that, let's take this 60-second timeout.
Oh, boy. Oh.
Hayford goes off the field with a little assistance, and hopefully not anything too serious, as this is the last game, and he is an integral part of the Titan basketball program.
Certainly is a very talented player inside, and looks like a left ankle injury. Don't want to speculate, but was helped off the field.
3rd and 9. Hobson, play action, back to pass. Has time, steps up as he's falling to his knees, and he was down. His knees hit the ground, so it was blown dead, and the pass goes for naught. Some of the folks are perhaps looking for a little early contact downfield, but when your knee is down, you are down, and nice effort by Casey to get the ball away from his knees, but all for naught.
There's the athleticism. There's the arm we've heard so much about with Casey Hobson. I was one of those people calling for pass interference here in the booth, but the knee went down. They blow it dead. Another 3 and out here for the Titan offense.
Chaucer has trouble with the snap, picks it up, gets it away. It's a nice spiraling end-over-end kick, and Callery's going to watch it roll, and it is finally down at about the 21, 22-yard line, and that's where the Panthers will take over 1st and 10. 6:40 to go here in the 3rd quarter. It's still 20-6. The Panthers leading the Titans on a snowy Thanksgiving morning, although the snow has stopped, and the remnants remain. A beautiful winter scene as we look across with the trees dusted as we look out across to the home of the North School through the trees.
It seems like 2 turkey sandwiches ago that this game was 14-6 after about 6 minutes.
Yes. It's a slot right, Callery in motion, and the handoff goes to Montessier, and Montessier is stacked up nicely in the backfield by John Leon Gosselin again.
A terrific defensive effort from Gosselin all day. He's found some seams in that front 5 for Nashua South, and he's made a ton of plays in the backfield. I'd say he's got a handful of tackles for loss already here in this game, and he's been the defensive factor for the Titans so far.
A loss of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 13. Ball goes back to the 19-yard line. Ferrida wide to the left, slot right. Callery in the slot from the shotgun. Barrera calling signals, high pass, fakes the handoff to Montessier. Fires out to Ferrida up across the 30, and he is up to the 31, 32-yard line, but that's going to be good for a Panther 1st down. Coming up to make the stop was Brad Zepenis for the Titans, but not until the 1st down was made.
Play action, terrific throw and catch. Barrera to guess who? Bill Ferrida. He's a great athlete. He's had some quarterback spots here in this game, taking some snaps on the 2-point conversions. He can do a lot of things. He can run for you, and then he fought for the quarterback spot with Barrera coming into this year. They finally decided to flank him out to wide receiver, and it's been a good decision for Scott Knight. Terrific athlete out there and a great catch for a 1st down.
Ball's on about the 37-yard line, 1st and 10, quick count. Handoff goes to Montessier, avoids a hit in the backfield, gets back to the line of scrimmage before he is brought down by Mulcahy again. And a good job of avoiding being thrown for a loss on the play. He actually picks up 2. It'll be 2nd and about 8. Clock continues to run. And after a 26-point first half, which was preceded by a 20-point first quarter, nothing as we are out halfway through period number 3.
Well, defenses are making adjustments, Ed. Offenses are stalling out, and South continuing to run that football and get some 1st downs. They've really been on the field for a long time offensively.
Ball's on the 38. It's a high pass from center, but Barrera handles it, steps up in the pocket, fires it out in the flat. Incomplete, intended for number 20, and that goes incomplete. It was intended for Joe Lopez. And so that'll bring up a 3rd down and 8 now for the Panthers.
4:42 to play in the third quarter. And as you said, 26 points in the first half, 20 in the first quarter. Now the teams kind of feeling each other out. I think North has made some adjustments and started to make some tackles defensively. But South continue to be the team that's getting first downs. And North has really gone away offensively from what got them their first score. They're running the football out with Kendall Reyes and has not been that effective.
Gallery Lopez wide to the right side. Ferrer to White left. Lone running back is Mondesir. They fake the handoff, and he steps up and fires it. It's intercepted. Intended by Ferrer, and is picked off in there by Sergi Filino. And so the second turnover of the game by the Panthers, another pass interception by the Titans.
And a great job that time of the defense staying with the play. It looked right from the throw that it was going to be overthrown, and Filino stayed with it. He made the interception, and North, once again, good field position. The question is, can they get a first down here? They've gone 3 and out on 4 consecutive possessions dating back to the first half. They need to get some momentum here. With Hayford out, it takes out a receiving option. They've got to find a way to run the ball.
Titans had the ball on their own 38-yard line, 1st and 10. Ends are split, backs in the eye. Onto the center calling signals, Casey Hobson. 1st down and 10. Hobson hands it off to Reyes. Reyes tries to go off tackle left and gets a yard, if anything, as he is stacked up in there by number 42, and that's Mike Lefevre. Also coming in on the stop was Nate Boyer, excuse me. And pick up a 1, 2nd down and 9.
And 8 of these last 11 plays have gone to Reyes, and they continue to call his number, and he's not getting any push up front from his offensive line. A good job by South to break through, and not able to break any big ones here.
2nd down, 9. Pitch back goes to Reyes again, gets a block, cuts inside. Tries to turn it upfield, but he can't do it as he is stopped in there by Mark Belanger and number 54, Nate Boyer. It'll be a 3rd down now and 9, 3rd and 9. And we notice that for the North, Hayford has not returned to his end position. So it will be a 3rd down now coming up, and 9 yards to go.
Another 3rd and long
Slot
for North.
Left. Backs are split behind Hobson as the Titans try to come up with a big 3rd down play. Hobson rolling to his right, fires it out, intended for Reyes, and overthrown, too far out in front of him. So another 3 and out for the Titans, and that will bring Chris Schatzier from his guard position into punt again. Paul Callery is the single safety, waiting for the kick, standing back inside his own 35-yard line.
And that time, Hobson rolling left. He looked like he was going for Reyes the whole way. If he looked back right, Sapanis was wide open.
It's an end-over-end kick by Chassier. Takes a Titan roll down inside the 30, down to about the 25-yard line. And why did they pick it up? It was still going.
I think the number was at 30 who jumped on that one a little bit too early. The ball still had, I'd say, 3 or 4 yards of roll left on it, but maybe North hop on it, knowing that the clock is not in their favor. 3:04 to play 3rd quarter. And they want to go out there and play some defense here, and they're going to need to make another defensive stop because their offense has struggled mightily since the first possession back in the first quarter.
So the Panthers take over 1st and 10 on their own 24-yard line. They lead 20-6, 3:04 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. As timeout is now called by the Panthers, as they didn't have the right alignment of players out in the mix. I have to wonder too if he will use, if this remains and he's victorious, if he will use this as Jason Roby did this year. Last year's game is the springboard to his 6-4 season, and given the win over Pinkerton and this last victory, if it stays like this, as a springboard for next year.
I would think you're dead on that.
Slot right, onto the center, calling signals Barrera. Barrera hands it off. Mondesir cuts back. He's across 30, 35, 40. 45, up to about the 47-yard line goes Andy Mondesir. And he is brought down from behind, but not until he picks up some more valuable real estate. And he is having a whale of a game for a senior.
Well, you talk about a kid, as you said, a senior playing in his last football game, possibly. And for him to be able to get, it's a dream scenario for him on Thanksgiving morning, rivalry game. What a job he's done. And right now, if you're looking for an MVP, look no further than 22 wearing purple.
Their own 43-yard line, first down and 10. Backs in the I formation. Handoff goes to number 2 guy through, and that's Mondesir again. And this time he is stacked up as he gets back to the line of scrimmage for no gain. There'll be a second down and 10. And again, we talked about what this young man has had to endure personally. And for him to be able to keep his composure, be a good student and an athlete, it speaks volumes of the type of young man that not only he is, but these other guys that are out there this morning, the type of individuals they are.
141 yards rushing right now for Andy Mondesir. Made some very big runs in this thing and really powering this Nashua South offense.
Lopez wide to the right side. Fumble. Ball is loose. And Barrera is able to get it and dive forward, get back to the line of scrimmage, and it'll be a 3rd and 10.
That ball is shaped pretty funny yet. It takes some weird bounces, as you know, and in the snow, it almost bounced right back up into the hands of Barrera as he fumbled it on the handoff attempt, able to corral that thing, and that would have been a big turnover, and South able to get it, and they'll face a 3rd and long.
It's interesting. Barrera and Mondesir have been the ball carriers in the second half. Barrera primarily handing off, and Hobson primarily handing off except for a couple of passes, but even those passes were intended for Reyes.
Yeah.
So, from the shotgun, Barrera on 3rd and 10. Good pass from center, has time, rolling to his right, calling on one of his receivers to come back, and he fires it out of bounds. There's a good pressure being put on him by number 6 for the Titans. And again, that's John Leon Gosselin. You want a defensive player of the game for the Titans. There's the kid that you have to give strong consideration to.
He's made plays all over the field, but most importantly, he's made them in the Panther backfield. That he's blowing up plays as they try to happen, both running and passing. What a job in this game by Gosselin. And I'm sure there are people around the state that are upset to hear he's only a sophomore, and he'll be back for 2 more seasons of football here.
Ferreter standing inside his own 30, waiting for the pass from center. He was the player that Barrera was trying to get to come back for the pass. It's a good high pass from center, but he gets it away, and it's rolling around, and they're going to let the Panthers down it downfield. Coming in to make the coverage was Mark Belanger for the Panthers, and so the Titans will get the ball back with 51 seconds remaining here in the third quarter.
Fast-moving third quarter.
20-6. The Panthers continue to lead, and they'll mark it down at the 26-yard line.
As we approach noontime here, ESPN Radio 900, WSNH, 1590 WSMN, and you can listen to see the game later on Saturday on TV 16. We thank Frank Willent, the camera operator, doing a great job here today for TV 16.
Frank's getting a little help. We'll tell you who in a minute. Hobson pitches it back to Reyes, and Reyes is going to be hit behind the line and dropped. Leading the charge, number 18, Mark Belanger, and also number 71, Nick Hogan. A loss on the play of a couple of yards, and it'll be a 2nd down and 12. And assisting Frank this morning is Alderman at Large Jim Tolner. So if you don't see Jim in his seat at some of the Aldermanic meetings in the future, that means he'll be up helping running the camera for the meetings. He's getting training here.
And a happy Thanksgiving to Jim and Frank and everyone out there. Really appreciate you tuning in, and hope you're having a great holiday.
And again, they've gone back to that lineup with the 2 guards in the center, with Hobson with the lone running back, and everyone split out wide to the right side. Final play of the third quarter. Motion now is Reyes, back to pass Hobson. Looking. He's going to be hit and dropped from the end position, number 83, Brent Wilcox. Nobody touched him, and he throws Hobson for a tremendous loss as the third quarter comes to an end. The score, the Panthers 20, the Titans 6. We'll be back in 60 seconds. All right, the final 12 minutes of the 2005 football season in Division I about to be captured here at Stellos Stadium and at 6 other venues around the state of New Hampshire. And here it is the Purple Panthers of Nashua South leading the Titans of North by a score of 20-6. Third and about 17, 18 yards to go for Titans from the power I formation. The handoff goes to the second man through, and that was John Leon Gosselin, who got his first run on offense, and he fumbles it, but he's able to recover, but no gain on the play, so it'll be a 4th down And again, Chris Chaucier will have to come in and kick it away to the single safety, Paul Callery, awaiting the kick at about inside his own 50-yard line. So they should get good field position out of this, as from about his own 5-yard line. Chaucier gets the snap. It's a low kick, allowing for good coverage. Just barely misses Callery, and Callery is taken down by one of the North players coming down the field, but it'll roll dead, and the North will take over, or rather the Panthers will take over at their own 47-yard line with 11:16 remaining here in Turkey Bowl 2.
And let's give some credit. This has kind of been gone unmentioned, but we have not seen a punt snap dropped. We have not seen a punt snap over snap, so to speak. What a job by the special teams here. Field goals and extra points have been a non-factor, but on the punts, everything's been clean. Great job on the long snappers and great job on the punters to control it in this type of conditions.
First down and 10 at their own 45-yard line. Callery comes out to the left. Now he goes back, and coming out of the left is Joe Lopez. Swidler is wide to the right side from the shotgun. Joe Barrera calling signals. Gives it to Callery on the counter. Callery tries to turn the corner and gets back to the line of scrimmage and maybe gets a yard, and that is all before he is brought down by Kevin Cloutier, senior, 6'1", 220 pounds.
And have not heard a lot of Callery's name here in the second half. It's been a lot of Barrera and a lot of Andy Mondesser, but again, a third back that can get some yardage, and South really can just continue to run the football and chew up the clock. 10:43 to play in the fourth quarter. They lead by 14, 20-6.
Again from the shotgun. This time it goes to Callery, trying to come to the left side. Gets a block, tries to cut back inside, and he is brought down. And making the stop for the Titans is John Leon Goslin.
No surprise there. We're starting to see a little bit of extracurricular activity here. We saw it on that punt. North player hitting Callery, and we just saw Philinaw and Joe Lopez in a heated throwdown on the outside in a blocking situation. So as we get closer to the end of this football game, some of the emotions starting to boil over a little bit.
Again from the shotgun. The handoff, fakes it to Mondesir. Now a little shovel pass out to Callery. Callery cuts it up, gets a couple of yards for his tripped up. Coming up from the secondary to make the stop was Cloutier again. And so that'll bring up a third down, and about 7 yards to go. It is fourth down.
You're right. You had a verse, right?
I was right.
Don't look at those boards. You're right. Come on.
4th and 7, and it will be a punt situation. Single safety for the North is Ryan Connolly. It's a good snap. Faraday gets a low boot off, takes a bounce, a Panther roll, and is going to be down by Brad Masur, and it'll be about the 27, 28-yard line, and that's where the Titans will take it again. And one of the things we talked about with the coaches in the pregame, this is the last group of kids that played together at the Unified Nashua High School. So henceforth, it will be all Titan, all Panther players, but this is the last group of seniors that were once unified, and then last year became split.
And certainly it's an interesting story of the split, and they'll finally get a breakaway, and it'll be really two different identities now, Titans and Panthers.
Casey Hobson brings him in, slot left formation, backs in the eye. On first down and 10, Hobson back to pass. Fires it up there. The man is there, and it's complete to Scott O'Neill. O'Neill going down the sidelines. He's down to 30, 25, and now they're saying, he stepped out of bounds. All the way back at the 40-yard line. And let me tell you, that official has got 20/20 vision.
There's actually booing now from the north side. You can hear the fans getting agitated. O'Neill was wide open. He could have danced to the end zone, Ed, and he stepped with that snow along the right sideline. Did not know where he was. Great play action that time. Hobson O'Neill hook up for a big play. That's what we needed out of North. It seemed like they were asleep at the wheel offensively for a long time. A big play there. That might be the spark they need to get back in this football game.
Well, that would have been a 72-yard touchdown.
It should have been.
And how they could find the line, God bless them. First and 10 at the 40-yard line for the Titans. Hobson again, back to pass, steps up, fires it out there. It is complete to Nate Forsyth, and it's going to be close to another first down as all of a sudden,
Where was this?
have found some offense.
And what a cannon on this kid Hobson. Certainly we've heard a lot about him throughout the year doing Friday Night Lights, and they finally get a chance to see him. And the first time since the first quarter, they've let him uncork that arm, and two big passes, both right on the money. And that one, he had to kind of thread the needle to get it to his receiver, and a good catch by Forsyth. And finally, the Titans have woken up offensively.
Pick up a 9, 2nd and 1, and the handoff this time goes to the first man through.
I think that's Gosselin.
That is John Leon Gosselin getting a chance to do a little offense. He gets the first down and more. Clock continues to run. It'll be wound after they place the ball. 8:28 remaining, 20-6. The Panthers leading. The ball is at the 29-yard line of the Panthers, and the Titans are on the move. 1st and 10. The clock could be a factor. They are still taking their time in the huddle. They come out, the back's in the eye, the slot left formation. Hobson looking it over, and now he's going to call timeout. Didn't like the lineup, and so Hobson has to use a timeout, and that could come back to haunt them.
Yeah, as you said, they have two opponents down the stretch here, Ed. They've got to play South. They've got to play the clock. 8:08 to go in the football game. They trail by 2 scores, and those 2 scores aren't going to be definitely 14 points because the extra points have been impossible to come by. Neither team has converted one. It's only been 2-point conversions so far, and it's going to be tough for them having used that one timeout. And not sure if they could not get a set offensively, but they had the clock stoppage with the first down. You would think they could get it going. They didn't, and now North uses the timeout. They'll have a 1st and 10, but clock against them. 8:08 to play in this ball game.
Jason Roby out talking to his offense.
And both teams, 2 timeouts remaining in this game. So for South, it's not that much of a deal with the 2-touchdown lead, but for North, you're right. It's probably going to come back and haunt them.
Al Neville, the defensive coach, makes his way back to the sideline for the Panthers.
It's good hustle.
Ball's on the 29-yard line, 1st and 10. 8:08 to go in the ball game. Hobson brings him up, slot left formation. Out of the center, calling signals. Casey, long count, hands it off. No, play action. Back to pass, has time, fires it out there through the hands of the intended receiver. And that was number 11, and that is Brad Zepenis, someone we haven't heard from since the first quarter.
And Zepenis was the short receiver. He had Forsyth as a second receiver. He threw it right in the middle of those two. It goes incomplete. But again, you're seeing the arm of Casey Hobson we've heard so much about, and a chance finally here in the fourth quarter to uncork a little bit. And looks like they've got a quarterback of the future for sure here at Nashua North.
Brings up a 2nd down and 10. Stops the clock with 8:03 remaining. Zepenis wide to the right side. O'Neal to the left, under the center, Hobson. On 2nd and 10 from the Panthers' 29-yard line, hands it off to the second man through, and that's Gosselin.
Oh.
And Gosselin is stopped. Number 42 stopped him dead in his tracks in the backfield. Mike Lefevre, then had some help from Chris Bonifant. And a loss on the play of 3. It'll bring up a 3rd and 13.
Well, so now another passing situation for Casey Hobson. Can he connect on a big 3rd down? And really probably 4-down territory at this point, Ed. Inside 8 minutes in the ball game, trailing by 2 scores. Even if they don't convert, you got to feel like Jason Roby is going to go for it. They need to score here. They need to get in the end zone on this possession.
Slot to the left, Zepenis in the slot. Hobson with the back split, calling signals. Looks out on the flat, fires it out there and through the hands of the intended receiver, number 31, and that's Nate Forsyth. So that'll bring up a 4th and 13. And as you said, Mike, this is 4-down territory. And this probably could be the ball game. If the South can hold them and then put together any kind of a drive to run the clock down, this could probably do it.
1st down or 2 would probably end the football game, and you put North in a tough spot. They've connected on 2 big pass plays on this drive, but South is going to be back there awaiting a pass, and the defense knows it's coming, a lot easier to stop. But we'll see. Hobson showed a strong arm here. Let's see if one of the receivers can hold on for a big 1st down.
Slot left formation. Hobson on 4th and 13. Play action, rolling to his left, looking, steps up, fires it out there, and it's through the hands and incomplete, intended for Forsyth. He would have had enough for the first down, but instead it goes as an incompletion, and the Panthers will take over on downs with 7:08 remaining. They lead 20-6 here at Stellos Stadium on Thanksgiving Day, 2005. North has won the last two meetings between these clubs, but South about to do to North what North did to them last year in this game.
Are we seeing a trend here, Ed? The underdog in the first two games is on their way to victories, and it's been this has been a good game for South, and they've shown why a lot of people said they got better as the year went on. We're seeing that today with their running game.
Mondesir gets the call, hits into the line, stopped. Ryan Connolly coming in to make the stop. Kevin Cloutier and Tom Mulcahy coming in to make the stop for the Titans, and the snow returns.
Snow comes back here at Mata Field, Stellos Stadium, just afternoon. Happy Thanksgiving. Glad you could join us for this broadcast. 6:40 to play. South on top, 20-6. Second annual Nashua Turkey Bowl.
Mondesir, the lone running back. He gets the handoff. Comes off tackle left, cuts it back in the middle. Still on his feet. Gets another block. Breaks it. Close to a first down before he's brought down by number 54, Sean Reed. We'll see what they mark it is. Going to be good enough for a Panther first down. So that will keep the clock moving once they set the chains. With 6:27 and running remaining here in this second annual event, North-South.
Don't you get the feeling Andy Mondesir has one more big run in him? I mean, he's just missed on a couple of these in the second half. You just feel like he's going to break one more and cap off what has been a career game for him here on Thanksgiving Day.
He is a senior, 5'4", 140. And again, Andy gets the call, and he breaks it up for about a 3 or 4 yard gain. And Mulcahy again in on the stop for the Titans. Mulcahy himself a senior, playing his last game, and certainly may not be happy with the fact that they're not going to have a victory, but his personal performance should be gratifying to him. He's been very consistent here today.
Well, Mulcahy, Reyes has played a good game for them. Hayford went out with the injury, but almost had a good catch defensively, a couple interceptions. And then Gosselin, as we talked about, just a sophomore, he's played a heck of a defensive football game for the Titans.
Now they have a problem on the exchange, and looks like the South has come up with it. They have.
No, they're going to say it's North football here, Ed. It's a turnover. The Titans have the football once again. Gosselin came in there, blew up the play, got there, and the turnover the Titans needed, trailing 20-6 with only 5:20 to go. 2 timeouts. Casey Hobson, another shot at the offense, and probably the only thing they could get would be a fumble here. That's a third turnover by Nashua South on this football game today. 2 interceptions and now a fumble.
And that's about the second or third time that Gosselin has been able to penetrate into the backfield like that. All right, the handoff goes to Reyes, and Kendall tries to go off tackle to the left and makes a couple of yards, and that'll bring up a second down and about 7. Second and about 7.
And Titans contend here to run the football. I'm surprised they only get 3 yards on that. The clock continues to run. We're under 5 minutes now in the football game. You trail by 2 touchdowns. You have a quarterback who can throw. A little bit surprised at the play calling here in the fourth quarter.
Come up with the slot left, backs in the eye. Hobson out of the center, calling signals, second down and 7. Hobson rolling to his right, looking, being rushed, and just has to get it away. As great defensive pressure being put on him by number 64, Dan Pelshat, and also number 80.
Was 89 on that play that
89,
time.
Pascal Leroy.
Just a sophomore, and you look at good penetration that time. Hobson faked the running play, rolled out to his right, and as a lefty, couldn't get himself across the body to throw. He's looking for O'Neal, the tight end of the pattern, who had a big play earlier in this football game, but never got around. Good pressure by that Nashua South front 5.
3rd and 7. The ball's on the 48-yard line. Slot left, backs in the eye as Hobson brings him up. Again, this is probably 4-down territory for the Titans. Hobson has time, steps up, fires it long. The man is out there, and it is intercepted. Intercepted by Bill Ferret, a one-handed interception. Runs it out of his end zone, up across the 10, 15, still on his feet, up across the 20-yard line. And that should about do it.
Bill Farrader, the athlete, terrific baseball player, one-handed, as you said, at interception right in the end zone. The pass intended for number 11 that time, Brad Zepenis, and a great athletic play by Bill Farrader. The only negative there, some of the Nashua South coaching staff had to be going crazy. He didn't take a knee, and just down it there in the end zone, took it out and got it almost out to the 20-yard line. Huge defensive play that time by Farrader. With 4:19 to go and South on top by 2 touchdowns. That might be the nail in the North coffin.
And given the conditions and the footing out there, that was in the air for about 50 yards by Hobson.
Great throw.
All right, Barrera brings him up. Slot left formation, and yes, little motion there, and that's Nate Boyer. Nate knew he kind of caught himself, and there was a little delay in the call, but it'll be a 5-yard mark off. Put it back at the 17, 1st and 15 for the Panthers.
And it's still snowing a little bit, very light snow, but the sun has come out. It's made it a very bright field right now, and certainly with only 4:16 to go in this football game, a lot of people have stuck around for this game, and some have made their way home for Thanksgiving dinner, and certainly they've been entertained if they have stayed. Back in the first quarter, we thought we'd see a very high-scoring game, but we've had a defensive standout breakout here, and a couple of very nice defensive plays on both sides of the football. Gosselin for Nashua North, the Titans have been very good up front, and then Bill Farrader, a terrific athletic interception on an attempted touchdown pass from Hobson to Zepenis.
Well, it's 1st and 10, so
I wonder how that happened.
Mulligan, I guess, is what they're saying. Mondesier gets the handoff, comes off tackle, and he is brought down by Dan Murray after a pickup of about 6 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
And under 4 minutes to play, Jay Scott Knight commenting at ESPN 900 earlier this week how terrible his Thanksgiving weekend was last year, having gone into this game as the favorite and then losing. It said turkey didn't taste good, was not a good weekend, and he's 3 minutes and 43 seconds away from having a delicious turkey dinner this afternoon.
And off again, Mondesier tries to get outside, gets a nice block, but someone got him around the ankles and was not about to let go, and that was number 54, Sean Reed. And he gets some help after that because there was a nice block thrown in there by Callery to try to spring around the corner, but Reed would not let go. So it brings up a 3rd and 5. Clock continues to run. 3 minutes to go. 20-6. The South Panthers about to stake claim to a city title in their 2nd year.
And a first down
split.
here, we're just about to it.
Now, the problem on the exchange, but they fly it out on the flat to Callery on that lateral play that both teams were using early on that we haven't seen a lot of the remainder of today.
And a break here for the Titans if this thing is short of the first down. We'll have to check with the marker, but he went out of bounds. The clock will stop. And with 2:51 to play, let's see where they mark this football. It looks a little bit short from where we're standing, and we'll see the 4th and make it a yard, but they're going to bring the chains on it and take an official look. And would Nashua South feel more comfortable if it be a 4th down, just going for it rather than punt the football? And we'll have to see here. They have to measure this thing out, and a big measurement for both teams.
There you go. They are going to make the long trek over. The official tries to find the yard line so he can put the marker on it. And now they're making the long trek from across the way to make a measurement. Yeah, it would be an interesting call here for Scott Knight. Does he go for it to maintain the momentum and run the clock out? Or does he kick it away and put the Titans deep in their own territory?
And some of the Panthers were signaling first down right away, so we'll see. This is a big mark for both teams.
And they are in front of the Nashua bench, the South bench, so we'll hear right away. Doesn't seem to be a lot of exuberance there, so my guess is they are short. And Bob Mercer, we couldn't see him because the players were all around him, so it's less than a foot to go.
Yeah, they're saying it's 4th and about a foot here, so now it's Scott Knight's call. Did they go for it and try to get the first down, or do you punt? We'll see.
They found the yard line, so now they can stretch the chain out, and Bob Mercer's got it marked on his end of things. And
It's a full yard. They're measuring it out now. It looks like or half a yard maybe.
yeah. Now, what do you do? About the length of a football.
You know, Bill Ferreter, very athletic as a quarterback. You put him back there right now, and I'm not sure he doesn't just fall forward and get the first down because of his momentum. We'll see what Scott Knight decides to do.
Barrera is going to be under center. They got to wait now for the chains to get across the way. The lone running back is Mondesier. Slot left formation. Swidler wide to the right side. Barrera steps up behind the center. 4th and a yard. Long count, trying to draw him
off sides.
Now he calls timeout, so when all else fails, call timeout and bring in the punt team.
They use their second timeout. Now Bill Ferreter will come on the field, but not to quarterback and to punt. And so Nashua North makes a defensive stop. They'll get the football back, and with 2:51 to play and 2 timeouts, they're still in this football game. But we're going to need to see more of the passing game of Casey Hobson. Under 3 minutes to play here, and certainly a big punt return to set up some good field position would be a huge help for the Titan offense.
Well, should we jinx them? There has not been a blocked punt all morning.
We haven't a block punt.
We've
no
had
one's
2 blocked
fumbled it.
PATs. So might the Titans decide to send all 11 people and put nobody back? Ferreter is cleaning space, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to send all 11. Nobody's back for the punt. They're covering the wingman, and everybody else is going to see Ferreter as he stands back in punt formation inside his own 20-yard line.
Ferreter can run. Let's see if maybe they'll fake this thing.
It's a low pass, and he just does get it away. And the Titans now...
And the ball hit a North player. It hit a North player.
The ball hit number 30 for the Titans, and that is Eric Congdon. And coming up with the football was Chris Bonifant. And now the officials are discussing. First down for the Panthers.
You know, the ball hit the ground once, Ed. It hit Congdon right in the foot. South hopped on it. You got to get away from a punt like that. North would have had the football, really in Panther territory inside the 50, and Panthers get it back with 2:41 to play. They can run a couple plays here, get a first down, and end this thing. A huge break for the Panthers.
Motion now, Callery, handoff, Mondesier, hits into the line, and gets nothing, but the clock is running. 2.5 minutes to go here.
Yeah, Jason Roby's got to make a decision here. Does he use the timeouts now, or does he use them later? And it looks like they're going to use them. Let's see, clock continues to run, and so they will not use the timeouts as of yet.
Well, the coaches from the north and the south that have been up on the roof all morning are coming in, so
they feel like it's over.
2:10 to go, 2nd and 10 for the Panthers. Ends in tight. Double wing, lone running back, Mondesier. In motion goes Callery. Callery gets the handoff, follows Mondesier around the corner, cuts up inside, still on his feet, down across midfield, down to about the 46-yard line. It'll be a 3rd and a couple.
And let's see, potential flag on the play here. Let's see what it's for. Can we get a hold? It looks like it's better. Joe Lopez arguing that he was not there at holding. And when you're arguing that you didn't hold, you probably did, Ed. And Lopez called for the hold. It'll be a 10-yard mark-off. But another extra down to run some time here for South, so it doesn't hurt them that much.
No, and in this instance, it's almost as good as picking up a first down.
Because you get a chance to run an extra play here. Yeah, we'll see.
Unless the Titans decline the penalty. But now they're going to take it. After discussion.
And after this game, Ed, you'll be down in the field, I believe, once again, presenting a trophy that probably very near and dear to your heart.
Yes, we were continuing the presentation of the trophy in memory of my dad. And looks like it'll be going to Scott Knight. An interesting story there that we'll get to after this next play. 2nd down and about 20. Ball is back at the Panther 36-yard line. Barrera trying to get some footing. Calling signals. And the man in motion is Joe Lopez. Lopez trying to turn the corner and is pulled down in good pursuit. Tom Mulcahy coming in to make the stop. Also Justin Bartolo. The clock continues to run. 1.5 minutes to go.
Wow.
Scott Knight's grandfather and my dad were in radio together. And my dad got married. Scott's grandfather was his best man.
Wow.
So there's a little history there. And it'll be a nice Thanksgiving for Scott and his family and, well, for everybody because of the turnout. Now a timeout is finally burned.
20 seconds later, we're sitting here, Matt, my brother here with the stats, he keeps asking me why is Jason Roby not using his timeouts. I don't know if he feels like they're out of this football game or and now coming into, did he call a timeout just to talk to the officials? Let's see, or is he talking to his guys? And I don't know, some confusion on the field.
There's some confusion over who called the timeout at base. Like that's what Jason's having a discussion with the officials about, saying that we didn't call this timeout. Has Callery and Bondesier beside him.
20, keeper.
And rather Lopez, he tried to hand it off to
Number
Lopez
5
and
on
it
the
dropped.
stop.
And so he'll be thrown for a loss as the number 5, Justin Reyes, comes in to make sure he stays there. And now timeout is called by North again.
I believe that's the final timeout for North.
So that will stop the clock with 57 seconds remaining in Turkey Bowl 2. And the Bill Farrader will clean off a spot to kick it away. And once again, it appears that North will not be sending anybody back and trying to block the punt. And given what happened last time, they're probably better off not sending anyone back.
Well, here's the equation, Ed. They've got to block the punt and get the score, get the onside kick, score again, and somehow convert 2-point conversions and extra points here. The task is tall, but Jason Roby is getting his defensive guys instructed on how to chase down this block punt. And big play here for Bill Farrader. Only 57 seconds left, no timeouts remaining. Tall task for the Titans to tie this football game or take the lead. But they're calling timeouts this late in the game. They feel like they're still in it. And you just wonder what happened to their offense here in the second half.
Well, last week in the Marist Stony Brook game, there were 14 points scored in under a minute.
Can happen.
8 by Stony Brook, 6 by Marist, but Marist 6 were more important because that was the victory.
Now you're predicting that's going to happen here today on Thanksgiving.
Well, let's watch this punt, and I may rethink that. Farrader inside his own 20, waiting for the pass from center. Nobody back for the Titans. They're coming after him. It's a high count. Goes through his hands, and he's going to throw the ball up, and it is almost completed to Montesser, who is up the sidelines. And instead it goes a long, incompleted pass, and the Titans will take over 1st and 10 at the Panther 30-yard line.
All game we didn't have the high punt. That time we did. Farrader could not hold on, and it really had a decision there. Do I hop on the ball, take the loss, or do I try to pick it up and potentially allow North to get it and go into the end zone for a touchdown? He made another athletic play, scooped the ball out, rolled left, threw back across his body for the incomplete pass. And the interception was a very athletic play. That was just as good. Bill Farrader's had a nice football game here today for South.
And I think if Montesser had kept running, that might have been a completion. He probably could have taken it for a touchdown. Hobson now looking for somebody out in the flat, and it is out and incomplete, intended for Scott O'Neill. And that'll stop the clock with 44 seconds to bring up a 2nd down and 10.
And North trailing by 2 scores, 20-6, and a good thing that was incomplete because it stops the clock. He was short of the 1st down. That would have been a clock killer had O'Neill caught that football.
Again, Hobson back to pass, 2nd down. Has time, steps up, fires it through the hands of number 63, and that young man is Chris Mollifant.
Yeah, Chris Mollifant, excuse me. Yeah, we looked for his number earlier today, couldn't find it.
The mystery player.
Got them all set. And a nice defensive play there, tipped the ball in the air, and North down to really 2 pass plays to try to get it in the end zone and somehow get an onside kick. Let's see, Hobson's going to need to thread the needle here, and the receiver's going to have to get open. South knows what's coming, much easier to defend.
Good job that time by the North line, giving Hobson plenty of time to set up and make the throw. Again, he goes with the slot left formation, backs in the eye, 3rd and 10 from the 30-yard line. Hobson fires it out, and it is intercepted. It's intercepted by the Purple Panthers, and that is Mark Belanger. And Belanger runs it up to about the 32-yard line, and that will do it. 28 seconds on the clock. All the Panthers have to do is take a knee, and history continues to be made.
Upset in year 1, upset in year 2. Both teams that would be considered the underdogs have won these Turkey Bowl games. And what a great start to this rivalry, and what a great offensive first quarter we saw. But after that, very defensive. Teams that not open up the playbook, and not they played scared, but certainly played cautious. And Nashua South, with that lead, milked the clock. And great coaching job by Scott Knight and his group.
So the folks who persevered through the first half saw it all, and listened to us for the second half if they did leave.
That was probably the smart move today.
So they're all bunched up, and Joe Barrera is just going to take a knee. The clock will wind, and that will probably be the last offensive play of the 2005 season. Scott Knight's Purple Panthers have been victorious, defeating the North Titans. Final score 20-6, and Mike, it's been a pleasure to be on the air and on TV 16 with you, and a happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
And happy Thanksgiving to our listeners and our viewers. You'll go down and present the city trophy to the city champions, and that would be Nashua South as they win 20-6 here. Ed Leish's Mike Manis. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and wrap it up, get some stats, and tell you what's going on. Your final score, Nashua South 20, Nashua North 6. Nashua South, your winners of the second annual Nashua Turkey Bowl. You heard it here on ESPN Radio 900 and watched it on TV 16. Welcome back to Montefield Stellos Stadium. Mike Bonansky here with you. As you look down on the field, the Nashua South Purple Panthers celebrating in the west end zone. Snowballs are being thrown. A festive atmosphere here at Stellos Stadium for those who did stay, and certainly a snowy atmosphere. Your final score, South 20, Nashua North 6, as the South players throwing footballs at each other in jubilation. Throwing footballs, they're peppering their poor mascot out there, and feel bad for him as he's now the target of their arsenal. And the South team celebrating and the North team getting together in the east end zone. Tom King of the National Telegraph is down there, and certainly a good game here today. Andy Mondesur, the running back for Nashua South, is your MVP today. What an effort he had in this football game. His final international uniform, a senior, 158 yards rushing, a bunch of touchdowns, and what a job he did. And Mondesur had 2, Paul Cowrie had the other. Those are the 3 scores, and all happening in the first half. North got their score in an 81-yard touchdown pass. Hobson, a little screenplay to the left side to number 11, Brad Zepenis, and that was all she wrote. 20-6 in the first half, 20-6 your final, and really credit the South offensive line and the South running backs for getting the job done here today.
No, put a hand on this. We deserve this. Nashua on 3. 1, 2, 3. Nashua!
It's Lauren's turn. Go, Lawrence. Hold up high. You deserve it. Yeah, baby!
Yeah, I got new ones to share. I brought these back.
Paul!
You played a great second half. I love this entire team, and I'm proud of you guys. Bring it in.
All right, we love you, North. We love you, baby.
Everyone, put the pass in my car, quick!
Coach,